Chapter 104. At the same time. In the area next to the Stoneclaw Forest. A giant crocodile covered in red scales suddenly raised its head and looked at the Stoneclaw Forest. A hint of greed flashed in its eyes, but after carefully sensing for a moment, the corner of its eyes twitched unnoticeably. The appearance of a fire-type fae naturally couldn't be hidden from a powerful fire-type beast like him. However, this fire-type fae just had to appear in the Black Snake's territory. It had been the overlord of this area for many years. Even if the nearby beast kings didn't have any relations with it, they would still give it some face. However, the Black Snake that had just taken over didn't give it any face at all. It had only taken advantage of the internal strife in the Stoneclaw Forest to take over the forest as its own territory. This kind of thing was very common among the beast kings. After all, when the new and old beast kings took over power, it meant that the older generation experts had lost their deterrence to the surrounding strong enemies. There was no reason for the surrounding strong enemies to not take a bite out of this fat piece of meat. In the end, the Black Snake seemed to have gone crazy. It directly led the Fae under its rule to attack the giant crocodile's territory and forcibly took back the territory that originally belonged to the Stoneclaw Forest. It was also because of this that the giant crocodile and Lin Yuan had a conflict. If the fire-type Fae had appeared in the territory of other beast kings, the giant crocodile would have been able to exchange for it at most. However, it just had to appear in the Black Snake's territory. The giant crocodile reckoned that even if it was willing to exchange, the Black Snake wouldn't give it face. Roar! After thinking for a moment, the giant crocodile suddenly roared towards the sky. One by one, crocodiles with the same red scales slowly swam out of the nearby swamp and gathered beside the giant crocodile. They stared at their ancestor with burning eyes, waiting for the giant crocodile to give the order. Everyone spread out and gather all the Fae in the territory. We will go and find the Black Snake and ask for the item. If it is willing to give face, this king will definitely give it some benefits. If it doesn't know how to appreciate favors, we will directly kill our way in and snatch the item. Gigantic Crocodile glanced around at his descendants, nodded with satisfaction, and gave an order in a clear voice. The fire attribute spirit item that was born this time was definitely not simple. Even a peak wisdom stage great demon like it could feel the spirit force from the spirit item. Even if it devoured the spirit item, it would be able to obtain great benefits. On the other hand, the Black Snake was a water-type demon beast. A fire attribute spirit item of this level would only be harmful to it. No matter how it thought about it, the Black Snake wouldn't bite it to death. But just to be safe, it decided to gather all the demon beasts under its command. On the other side. Since the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King is determined to obtain the Crimson Yulu, the host's relationship with the Crimson Blaze Swamp has decreased by 20 points. The current relationship is hostile. Ding! As the host's relationship with Scarlet Flame Swamp has dropped to hostile, Stoneclaw Forest and Scarlet Flame Swamp have entered a state of combat readiness. Faction Battle Model, Name, Scarlet Yulu Contest, Closed, Attacking Party. Scarlet Flame Swamp, Weak, Defense, Blackwater Dragon Palace, Weak, Remarks, a close rival victory reward, 400 war points failure penalty, pay 400 war point system prompts popped up one after another, and Lin Yuan, who was in a hurry, had a slight change in his expression. Gan Lin Liang heard this. Forget about that damn crocodile next door coveting his item, it actually wanted to make the first move to gain the upper hand? According to the previous rebellion of the three clans, the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King had already gathered all the demon beasts under its command. As long as Lin Yuan wasn't willing to give up the Scarlet Yulu Pond, the crocodile would immediately attack. In any case, the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King would eat the Scarlet Yulu Pond, and Lin Yuan wouldn't be able to do anything to it. Na Qin. Lin Yuan, who had already arrived at the outskirts of the Stoneclaw clan, looked around and immediately found an old acquaintance. He immediately called out. Hearing Lin Yuan's call, Na Qin helplessly greeted his companions. Then, he walked over to Lin Yuan's side and said helplessly, Lord Beast King, what's wrong with you? Ever since Lin Yuan became a Beast King, he had completely used the Stoneclaw clan as his own clan. All the mountain-shaking apes were just tool apes in his eyes. As long as Lin Yuan appeared near the Stoneclaw clan, it would mean that he had some difficult task for the Stoneclaw clan to do. In the hundreds of years of the Stoneclaw forest, none of the Beast Kings bullied the apes like this. However, Lin Yuan was indeed an anomaly. All the Beast Kings before him had their own clan, but Lin Yuan was completely alone. Excluding the Batu, there were almost no demon beasts that were directly under the Beast Kings. War. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "Today, a new fire-type fae appeared in our territory. It's not far from the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's territory. That old crocodile must have noticed it. I guess it has already gathered its subordinates and is preparing to enter the Stoneclaw forest to snatch the fae. But what does this have to do with us?" Na Qin slapped his forehead, and his voice still sounded a little helpless. He didn't understand the black snake's thoughts. It wasn't that the Stoneclaw forest didn't have any fire-type demon beasts, but there wasn't a single one that could be found. Even the black snake, a beast king, was a water-type demon beast. It could be said that it had abandoned fire-type fays like they were shoes. It was fine to give such a fae to the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King. Why did it have to go to war? The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King isn't just after a fire-type fae. Let me tell you, the fae that appeared this time is extraordinary. It might even help the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King directly enter the next realm. When that time comes, it won't be able to shake hands and make peace with us just because we chased after it. Lin Yuan explained while observing Na Qin's expression. Then, he suddenly changed the topic and said, "The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King isn't the only one that wants my territory. I also have thoughts about the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's territory. You have to know that there is a spirit spring in the Scarlet Blaze Swamp. It is said that it is very beneficial for healing external injuries. If we can obtain this spirit spring, Mendu's injuries. I will immediately inform Mendu." Na Qin nodded heavily and directly interrupted Lin Yuan's words. Mendu only had one hand left. Although it was still very powerful, it wasn't very convenient. They had also heard of the spirit spring in the Scarlet Blaze Swamp. However, the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had always treated the spirit spring as its own treasure. No matter what price the Shattered Stone clan offered, it wouldn't agree to let Mendu recuperate inside. If they could obtain the spirit spring this time, it would be a great thing for the Shattered Stone clan. "No, let your companion inform Mendu. I will wait here for it. You have other things to do." Lin Yuan slightly coiled his body. His blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a cold light as he instructed, "You go now." Chapter 105. The Flaming Red Crocodile King led its subordinates and slowly approached the Crimson Jade Dew Pond. The demonic beasts living nearby also gathered spontaneously and stared at the Flaming Red Crocodile King with unkind eyes. After all, the distance between the two sides was relatively close, and there was constant friction between them. Even if Lin Yuan gave the Flaming Red Crocodile King face, these demonic beasts rooted here would not be kind. What's more, the newly appointed Lin Yuan's attitude towards the Flaming Red Crocodile King was very clear. If it dared to cross the line, he would beat it to death. Standing at the border between the Flaming Red Swamp and the Stoneclaw Forest, the Flaming Red Crocodile King stared ahead. After thinking for a while, the Flaming Red Crocodile King slowly raised its eyelids and said loudly, "This king has arrived. Why don't you go back and call the Black Snake to welcome him?" There were countless areas around the Hengduan mountain range, and each area had its own beast king. They were responsible for the balance of the area. If a beast king rashly attacked another beast king's territory, it would be fine if nothing happened. However, if something happened, the mountain lords and river lords in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range would come looking for trouble. Therefore, even if the Flaming Red Crocodile King was prepared for war, it could not directly attack the Stoneclaw Forest's territory without even seeing the Black Snake. What arrogance! Are you worthy of being welcomed by our king? Following a loud voice, the one-armed Mendu led 4 intelligence perception mountain-shaking apes over from afar. Behind Mendu was an intelligence black tortoise. Because of its ancestral bloodline, although this black tortoise did not awaken any elemental abilities, its body was more than twice the size of other black tortoises of the same level. Its physical strength was also extremely terrifying. Although it was not as terrifying as Qin Yan's heaven-falling and earth-sinking skill, it could still create a 30-meter deep pit. However, this extremely powerful black tortoise was only Lin Yuan's mount in the Stoneclaw Forest. Big Lizard, you came to this king's territory again? Did you not get enough of the beating last time? Lin Yuan lay on the back of the black tortoise and narrowed his eyes. His eyes were shining with a cold light, like a predator that had its eyes on its prey. Last time? Big Lizard? The flaming red crocodile king's face suddenly became gloomy. Last time it tried to take over the Stoneclaw Forest, it was surrounded and killed by Lin Yuan. Almost all intelligence realm beasts in the Stoneclaw Forest attacked it. If it was not strong, it was strong, it would have been killed. Humph, you're just like a human. You only know how to talk. The flaming red crocodile king shook its head, trying to get rid of the image of it being beaten to admit that it was a lizard. Then it glared at Lin Yuan and said coldly, Black Serpent, although you are a 10th grade demonic beast, this king heard that you have the strength to kill intelligence realm beasts. Since that is the case, do you dare to have a king's battle with this king? The so-called king's battle referred to when there was a dispute between two beast kings of similar strength. In order to prevent the endless war from destroying the ecological balance of the two territories, two demonic beasts of similar strength would fight to determine the winner. Usually, the participants of the king's battle would be the beast kings of the two territories. In rare cases, the beast kings would send their strongest demonic beast to fight. That was why it was called the king's battle. Without waiting for Lin Yuan to reply, the flaming red crocodile king changed the topic and said mockingly, What, you don't dare? This king heard that your snake tail was broken by a human. Now even walking is a problem. Ding! Provoked by the flaming red crocodile king, the special mission, King's Battle, has been activated. Name, King's Battle description, you are destined to become the king of beasts. How can you be ridiculed by a mere ant? Use any method you can think of to defeat the flaming red crocodile king. Make it pay a terrible price for its words and actions. Mission reward, depends on the completion of the mission. Failure punishment, lose the right to rule the Stoneclaw Forest. At the moment of the mission reminder, Lin Yuan suddenly shuddered. It's here. The hope of becoming a wisdom realm demonic beast and curing all the hidden injuries in its body was on this mission. It was just that this mission was very vague. Use any method he could think of to defeat the flaming red crocodile king? And make it pay a terrible price for its words and actions? You want to have a king's battle? Huh, what a coincidence. This king also has the same intention. Lin Yuan's eyes suddenly became clear. He replied slowly, however, this king has never done a losing deal. You want to have a king's battle, so this king has to accompany you? You have to at least bring some kind of reward. Otherwise, if any random cat or dog wants to challenge this king, how can this king have so much energy? Random cat or dog. Hearing Lin Yuan's words, the flaming red crocodile king's scales turned black. It wasn't that there weren't any cat or dog demons in the Hengduan mountain range, but there were too few of them. Most of the cats and dogs had even become pets of humans. Some of the canine demonic beasts had even become the trusted companions of human demon slayers. They specialized in helping human demon slayers hunt demonic beasts. Between demonic beasts, calling each other random cat or dog was an insult not inferior to a direct slap in the face. Roar! The flaming red crocodile king opened its mouth and let out a loud roar. It rushed to the boundary between the two territories. Its eyes were filled with ruthlessness as it said fiercely, Black Snake, you have angered this king. Today, even if a mountain lord realm demonic beast pleads for you, it will be useless. This king will definitely tear you apart. Hiss, hiss. Lin Yuan quickly flicked its tongue, as if it was releasing some kind of signal. Whoosh! A sharp sound of wind breaking rang out. A terrifying wind pressure rushed down from the sky, stirring up a large cloud of dust. The group of demonic beasts raised their heads and saw a huge crimson-furred bird flapping its wings as it floated above Lin Yuan's head. Its amber eyes seemed to have two balls of flames dancing in them. It seemed that just by looking at it, it could burn the enemy in front of it. Beside this crimson-furred bird was a green-furred greater demon. It looked similar to the crimson-furred bird, except that this green-furred bird was emitting a visible chill. Scarlet-eyed Mandarin. Black Ice Mandarin. The flaming red crocodile king looked at the two huge birds in the sky with a shocked expression. He called out their names with a gloomy expression. These two huge birds were also beast kings. Their territory was deeper than the Stoneclaw Forest and the flaming red swamp. The demonic beasts under them were also stronger than the demonic beasts in the outer regions. Although the difference wasn't great, it was clear that the demonic beasts in the outer regions would lose in the end. They rarely appeared in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, but today, they appeared together. Furthermore, they were standing on the Black Snake's side. Clearly, they were the helpers that the Black Snake had invited. Chapter 106. Big Lizard, you are right. This king's body is indeed inconvenient, so I specially invited two seniors to help me. Since you want to have a battle between kings, this king will do as you wish. Pick one of the two seniors to be your opponent. Lin Yuan looked at the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King with a hint of contempt. Demonic beasts were demonic beasts. Even if they had a certain degree of intelligence, they liked to solve problems with their own strength. However, Lin Yuan was different. After all, he had a human soul in his body. He could even command the 4 major clans to deal with emergencies in his own territory. When facing the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's provocation, how could he choose to face it alone? Even if he won, so what? The Crimson Jade du Pond was not something he could use. He also didn't have any fire-type demonic beasts under his command. Even if he picked one out to cultivate, it could directly go to the depths of the Hengduan mountain range once it was strong enough. In the end, wouldn't it be a waste? Only children would be swayed by emotions. Adults would have to consider the value of benefits. Scarlet Eye Mandarin glanced at the gloomy Crimson Blaze Crocodile King and said directly, Black Snake, you said, 1 drop of the Crimson Jade dew in your territory is equivalent to 5 years of cultivation for a fire-type demonic beast. Is that true? Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. That's good. Scarlet Eye Mandarin fixed her eyes on the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's face and smiled. This king will help you defeat it. All the Crimson Jade dew will belong to this king. How about it? Okay. Lin Yuan still nodded the snake's head. At this moment, the Black Ice Mandarin opened her mouth, and a cold female voice rang out, Black Snake, before this, I still have to greet you, lest the other beast kings say that we're bullying others because of our power. My brother is here to help you because of the Crimson Jade dew. If your stuff is not as effective as you claim, do you know what will happen to you? Now, if you take out a generous amount of phase as the running fee, my brother and I can still pretend that nothing happened. You have to think carefully. Black Ice Mandarin's words were filled with distrust towards Lin Yuan. A single drop of Crimson Jade dew was equivalent to 5 years of cultivation for a fire-type demonic beast? Since when was the outer region of the Hengduan Mountains able to produce such a miraculous item? If I say there is, then there is. However, Lin Yuan didn't even blink. Instead, he suddenly changed the topic and said unhurriedly, the reward has to be changed. Why don't the 2 seniors help me slaughter this large lizard and divide the phase storage in the Scarlet Flame Swamp? I'll take 20%, and the 2 seniors will take 70%. Moreover, you'll have priority in choosing. How about it? Xian Bingyuan carefully looked at Lin Yuan, and saw that the pair of blue-white vertical pupils were as calm as water, and there was no sign of lying at all. She nodded and said, as you wish. Sister, I'll go and play with it first. You go and clean up the demonic beasts it brought. Pay attention to controlling your strength. Don't kill all of them. Just kill some of the adult ones. Don't let those powerful people in the Hengduan mountain range find trouble. As soon as she finished speaking, Scarlet-Eyed Duck let out a shrill cry. She flapped her wings and rushed towards the Crimson Flame Crocodile King. The crimson jade dew was enough to attract it. If it could divide the Fae in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, it would be great too. It would have no problem dealing a heavy blow to the Crimson Flame Crocodile King if it joined forces with the Black Snake and men do. No matter how strong the Crimson Flame Crocodile King was, it couldn't turn the world upside down. This deal was worth it. Roar! The Crimson Flame Crocodile King let out an angry roar. As it opened its mouth, a black fireball that had been brewing for a long time was thrown towards the Scarlet-Eyed Duck. Although the Crimson Flame Crocodile King couldn't hear the Black Snake's words, judging from the Scarlet-Eyed Duck and the Black Ice Duck's attitude, this matter couldn't be settled peacefully. After all, the Fae in the Black Snake's possession was too tempting. A single drop was equivalent to 5 years of cultivation for a fire-type demonic beast. Not to mention existences like the Scarlet-Eyed Duck and the Scarlet-Eyed Duck, even a Mountain Lord-level demonic beast wouldn't be able to resist coming over for a share of the loot. The Scarlet-Eye Mandarin Duck flapped its wings and the fireball spat out by the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King was deflected by a gust of wind. Then, a mocking look appeared in its eyes that seemed to be dancing with flames. Playing with fire? You think you're worthy? Thinking of this, the Scarlet-Eyed Duck flapped its wings and a flame tornado that was several hundred meters tall was lifted. It looked much bigger than the Crimson Flame Crocodile King's fireball, but this was only the beginning. The Scarlet-Eyed Duck flapped its wings again and the flame tornado split into 8. They fanned out and surrounded the Crimson Flame Crocodile King. The Crimson Flame Crocodile King's eyes were filled with shock. Its thick limbs constantly slapped the ground and used the reaction force to frantically retreat. It seemed like it didn't dare to face the 8 flame tornadoes head-on. The Crimson Flame Crocodile King retreated and roared, "Scarlet-Eyed Duck, I admit that you're stronger than me. But even if you join forces with your sister, you might not be able to defeat me. Why don't we join forces to attack the Stoneclaw Forest and kill the Black Snake? All the Fae inside will belong to you. I only want the Black Snake dead. How about it?" Pfft. The Scarlet-Eyed Duck didn't reply, but Lin Yuan sneered. Other than facing humans, high-level demonic beasts didn't have a stance to speak of. Lin Yuan had a top-grade Fae like the Crimson Jade Dew, so he was able to ask the Scarlet-Eyed Duck and its sister for help. However, he didn't make this decision on impulse. If demonic beasts wanted to grow, they had to devour other demonic beasts or Fae. For example, a water snake like Lin Yuan would be like poison to the Scarlet-Eyed Duck. At most, it would have some effect on the Black Ice Duck. However, Lin Yuan was only a Class 10 demonic beast. Just like how he couldn't gain any attribute points from killing low-level demonic beasts, with the Black Ice Duck's current strength, eating Lin Yuan would at most make her feel full. It wouldn't do any good to increase her strength. In addition, Lin Yuan was already a newly promoted Beast King and was responsible for restoring the Stoneclaw Forest's ecosystem. He also had the bloodline of the dragon race. Killing Lin Yuan wouldn't be too difficult. However, after killing him, they would offend not only the demonic beasts in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range, but also the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas, which valued the bloodline of the dragon race. In addition, Lin Yuan was only a newly promoted Beast King and wasn't the descendant of the three-eyed ape. He definitely didn't have many Fae items in his hands. It could even be said that he didn't have any. After all, no demonic beast with a bad brain would give away their most precious treasures to the Beast King. If they killed Lin Yuan now, it would be completely detrimental to them. Lin Yuan knew what the Scarlet-Eyed Duck and its sister were thinking. That was why he dared to expose the Crimson Jade Dew without fear. He wasn't afraid of inviting a wolf into the house. In terms of intelligence, these high-level demonic beasts might not be inferior to humans. But playing mind games? Lin Yuan's previous life was an era of information explosion. When it came to mind games and shrewdness, even the aristocrats of the 7 dynasties might not be able to outplay Lin Yuan. Chapter 107. The flaming red crocodile king wanted to persuade the siblings with just a few words. Sorry, but as the old saying goes, pigs have to be fattened before they can be slaughtered. Lin Yuan's current wealth was nothing in the eyes of the siblings, but the flaming red crocodile king was different. It was a beast king from the same era as the three-eyed ape, and it just so happened that it was a fire demonic beast. After so many years, its wealth was so rich that even the siblings would drool over it. Faced with such a fat pig whose fat jiggled as it walked, and with a 70% chance of winning, it would be a miracle if the lovey-dovey siblings let it go. Lin Yuan's gaze fell on the scarlet pupil mandarin duck, revealing a hint of worry. This was done on purpose. He wanted to let the mysterious ice mandarin, who thought she was smart, see this and dispel the last bit of misgivings the siblings had about him. After all, he had already displayed enough extraordinary aspects. If he displayed too much intelligence that exceeded that of ordinary demonic beasts, it would be very easy for some demonic beasts to strangle him in the cradle. After all, the territory of this pair of siblings was not too far from the Stoneclaw forest. We demonic beasts value promises very much. The profound ice mandarin duck flapped her wings, turning some of the small crocodiles into ice cubes. Then, she slowly landed beside Lin Yuan and proudly raised her head, saying, "Since we siblings said that we will help you deal with the flaming red crocodile king, then we will definitely not go back on our words. As long as you did not lie to us about the reward, we will be your most reliable friends." Most reliable friends? Pay. Lin Yuan spat in his heart, but his face still had a smile. He replied with his mind, "Then I will have to trouble the two seniors to injure this big lizard first. If there is anything we can help with, please do not hesitate to ask." How could there be reliable friends between demonic beasts? Other than Lin Yuan, which beast king didn't rely on force to rule the demonic beasts in their territory? The pair of siblings had been tempted by the red jade dew, but when facing the red fire crocodile king, they were still a little scared. Black Ice Mandarin's words were not just to see if Lin Yuan had the real deal. She also wanted to take the benefits and leave. She didn't want to get involved in the conflict between Lin Yuan and the red fire crocodile king. However, Lin Yuan was not annoyed. It was true that the scarlet jade dew was useless to him, but it was still his, wasn't it? In Lin Yuan's eyes, exchanging 70% of the red flaming crocodile king's savings for the red flaming crocodile king's territory was a loss. However, it didn't matter. After all, he was a cheater with a system. As long as he successfully advanced to wisdom state, all the hidden injuries on his body would be healed. At that time, he would be able to hunt prey that could give him a lot of attribute points. His strength would still soar like a rocket. This pair of lovebirds had taken his things, so they would spit them out sooner or later. "Little brother, let me help you." Seeing that Lin Yuan had dispelled his worries, the Black Ice Mandarin screamed and spread her wings to join the battle. The red flaming crocodile king saw that the pair of lovebirds had no intention of paying attention to it. It gritted its teeth and continuously released all kinds of fire-type talents. In an instant, black flames, orange flames, and frost danced on the battlefield. Some of the weaker demonic beasts had even lowered their bodies, not daring to watch the battle between the beast kings. They were afraid that they would suffer an unexpected calamity. Meng Do carried a stone pillar with one hand and walked to Lin Yuan's side. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Black Snake, don't tell me that you came up with this idea on the spur of the moment." The pair of lovebirds could be considered famous in this area. Lin Yuan was a newly promoted beast king. If it wasn't for his outstanding battle record, who would put a level 10 demonic beast in their eyes? If the three-eyed ape was still around and something like the scarlet jadeite dew appeared in its territory, the red flaming crocodile king would definitely come over with a smile and request to exchange it for the scarlet jadeite dew. It would not directly gather people to try and snatch it. From this, it could be seen that Lin Yuan's position in the circle of beast kings was also incomparably awkward. Including Meng Do, no one would have thought that Lin Yuan would actually form a connection with the pair of lovebirds. What's so strange about it? The appearance of the scarlet jadeite dew only brought this battle forward a little. The red flaming crocodile king coveted the Stoneclaw forest's territory, while I coveted the red flaming crocodile king's spirit spring. Sooner or later, we would have to fight. It's just that the scarlet jadeite dew, which is useless to me, happened to be able to invite 2 strong reinforcements. Lin Yuan indifferently replied with his thoughts. Meng Do let out an "oh" and did not continue speaking. At this moment, he suddenly felt that all the demonic beasts seemed to have underestimated this black serpent. This demonic beast, which had not even reached the wisdom stage, possessed intelligence that far exceeded that of ordinary demonic beasts. Previously, when they were still in the demonic beast forest, the black serpent had already begun to plot against the Hengduan mountain range through Mengdo. Now, the Shattered Stone clan was tied to the black serpent, which was the best example. After the black serpent occupied the Stoneclaw forest, its ambition seemed to have not been extinguished. Under the circumstances where no demonic beasts were aware of, it was still in contact with the demonic beasts in the deeper regions. Just based on this situation, the red flaming crocodile king's loss today was not unjustified. How could a demonic beast, which guarded its own territory and always wanted to get some benefits from others, fight against an ambitious overlord who was constantly advancing towards a higher realm? Lord Sage really did not make an error of judgment. Meng Do sighed with emotion in his heart. Then, he swung the stone staff in his hand and roared, "Kill!" The demonic beasts from the Stoneclaw forest roared and pounced on the demonic beasts from the Scarlet Flame swamp. There was almost no suspense. It became a one-sided massacre. After all, those demonic beasts with extraordinary strength were already frozen when the mysterious ice mandarin attacked. How could the remaining demonic beasts defeat Meng Do and the other demonic beasts who were slowly recovering their strength at the side? Lin Yuan swayed his serpent tail. He had already begun to calculate how many benefits he would obtain after this mission. The red flaming crocodile king lost its life, the red flaming crocodile clan was unable to recover from this setback, and the Scarlet Flame swamp was annexed by Lin Yuan. Was this a tragic enough price to pay? Lin Yuan was full of confidence. He even felt that this mission would not be lower than an A grade. As for why it was not an S grade? Stop dreaming. From the system's point of view, if Lin Yuan did not personally torture the red flaming crocodile king to death, the system would definitely deduct a large number of points from Lin Yuan. Otherwise, it would not be called the Russian nesting doll system by Lin Yuan. The system, which could sense Lin Yuan's thoughts, silently held back the swear words that were about to come out of its mouth. Moreover, it began to silently calculate how to find a few more reasons to deduct points from Lin Yuan. At this moment, Lin Yuan did not know that the system had already begun to grind its teeth and was planning to deduct points from his evaluation. Instead, he was concentrating on watching the battle between the 3 demonic beast kings. After all, the mysterious ice mandarin was the strongest ice demonic beast in the vicinity. If he could secretly learn a few moves, he would not have to use icicles to stab his enemies every time, right? He looked just like Granny Roan. Chapter 108. The flaming crimson crocodile king forced the scarlet eye mandarin duck back with a flick of its tail. The scarlet eye mandarin duck's bloodline was nobler than his, and her control over fire was stronger than his. If he was determined to fight with the scarlet eye mandarin duck, he would be the one to lose. Thinking of this, the flaming crimson crocodile king couldn't help but look at the profound ice mandarin duck. This pair of siblings had always been close. If he could severely injure the profound ice mandarin duck, he would definitely be able to force the scarlet eye mandarin duck back. The flaming crimson crocodile king stomped on the ground with its 4 thick limbs, and directly charged towards the profound ice mandarin duck. However, the latter's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. Looking at the flaming crimson crocodile king charging towards her, a layer of light blue barrier suddenly appeared around her, and a dense cold aura spread out. The flaming crimson crocodile king crashed into the light blue barrier and instantly crushed it. It subconsciously opened its mouth and bit towards the profound ice mandarin duck, who was just in front of it, turned into an afterimage and directly disappeared in front of the flaming crimson crocodile king. Refraction. Lin Yuan, who was silently watching the battle, saw some clues. The profound ice mandarin duck's movements were very fast. When it landed in that area, all the monsters thought that it had been there all along. However, the current situation was very strange and scary, and most of the monsters were probably still confused. However, Lin Yuan's eyes quickly swept across the battlefield for a moment, and soon, he saw a piece of crystal-clear ice. The profound ice mandarin duck was currently squatting behind a rock, and what the monsters saw was only a projection of it reflected by the layers of ice. This big lizard, it's over, Lin Yuan gently shook the snake's head. Although he didn't have much of a beast's instinct, Lin Yuan could be considered an expert when it came to using the battlefield's terrain and setting up traps. The profound ice mandarin duck wouldn't make a projection for no reason to trick the flaming crimson crocodile king into attacking. The light blue barrier was to offset the impact of the flaming crimson crocodile king, and the afterimage was used to let the flaming crimson crocodile king see a glimmer of hope for victory, and let it use all its strength to attack with all its strength. At this moment, the flaming crimson crocodile king in the air was the biggest target. This state of helplessness would continue until the crimson blaze crocodile king landed. Extreme frost, icy hell. The profound ice duck flapped its wings and slowly rose from behind the rock, muttering. In the next moment, the ground beneath the crimson blaze crocodile king began to tremble. A huge piece of ice appeared beneath the crimson blaze crocodile king. As time passed, pieces of smooth ice extended from the huge ice surface and enveloped the crimson blaze crocodile king. Mendo turned his head and looked at Lin Yuan beside him. He narrowed his eyes and said, "This method is very similar." Before Mendo's voice trailed off, sharp icicles shot out from the ice surface, directly towards the crimson blaze crocodile king. These icicles were extremely sharp and slender. Although the crimson blaze crocodile king's body was covered in a layer of extremely hard red scales, there were gaps between the scales. If it were a large icicle, it would shatter when it hit the red scales. However, 80% of these sharp and slender icicles would shatter upon contact with the crimson scales. The remaining 20% would pierce through the cracks of the crimson scales and pierce into the crimson blaze crocodile king's flesh. Mendo forcibly held back the word, "you," swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and said to Lin Yuan with lingering fear, "He is much more vicious than you." Lin Yuan was at a loss for words. Lin Yuan didn't have a good way to deal with this kind of monster covered in scales. However, Lin Yuan caught a hint of inspiration from watching the black ice duck. After all, Lin Yuan was used to using water pillars and icicles. He had never thought that slender icicles would be more effective against these scaled monsters. Ding! Congratulations to host. After watching the battle between the black ice duck and the crimson blaze crocodile king, you have gained enlightenment. Water, ice, proficiency +1. Ding! Congratulations to host. After watching the battle between the black ice duck and the crimson blaze crocodile king, you have gained enlightenment. Water, ice, proficiency +1. 2 system notifications rang in his ears. Lin Yuan blinked his eyes, silently feeling the malice from the system. No wonder he hadn't increased the proficiency of his water, ice, talent before. It turned out that this damn thing didn't increase the proficiency just by using it. Instead, it had to be used in a fancy way and constantly studied the technique to increase the proficiency. Mendo, get ready to attack. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a cold light, and he warned, "If I say rush, you rush up. No matter what is blocking in front of you, you just have to use all your strength to hit it with the stick." All right. Mendo scratched its head and picked up the stone stick beside it. Its muscles slowly expanded, and then it constantly adjusted its body condition, allowing its blood to boil and ready for battle. Go! Before Mendo was ready, Lin Yuan's voice suddenly rang in its mind. Rumble. Rumble. Mendo's face was blank. Its body moved faster than its consciousness, and it directly rushed towards the direction of the crimson blaze crocodile king. What the hell? It didn't even have time to prepare. As soon as Lin Yuan told it to get ready, Lin Yuan directly gave it the order to charge. This made it unable to move up or down. Its muscles hadn't even stretched out, but it had already entered a state of explosion. Even the slightest movement would cause a tearing pain, but it could only continue to charge forward. Was this the doing of a snake? However, Mendo didn't have the chance to curse out loud. The consciousness that belonged to Lin Yuan in its mind once again gave the order to attack. Looking at the huge ice layer in front of it, Mendo's eyes flashed with confusion. However, its body's reaction was still faster than its thoughts. It subconsciously used all its strength and swung the stick down. At this moment, the muscles on Mendo's left hand had doubled in size. It looked extremely sturdy. Drip, drip, the ice layer that was constantly shooting out icicles slowly melted. The blood-stained crimson blaze crocodile king let out a roar and smashed a piece of ice with its head. Its eyes were filled with hatred. However, the hatred in the crimson blaze crocodile king's eyes only lasted for a moment, because it suddenly realized that a huge shadow had directly covered its head. Duong. A loud sound was heard. The crimson blaze crocodile king's head had just stretched out of the ice layer when it was hit by Mendo's stick. The huge crocodile's head was constantly trembling, and it only stabilized after a dozen times. However, its eyes were still blank. It was obviously stunned by Mendo's stick. Chapter 109. Scarlet-eyed Mandarin, Black Ice Mandarin, Mendu, the three beasts that were fighting the Crimson Flame Beast King all felt their breathing become sluggish. From their point of view, Mendu seemed to be trying to help the Crimson Flame Crocodile King escape. However, the Crimson Flame Crocodile King suddenly stuck its head out and caught Mendu's attack. Seeing the Crimson Flame Crocodile King's dazed expression, Mendu felt an inexplicable pain in his balls. In the past, when he fought with other beasts, they all avoided his stone staff. However, it was the first time that the Crimson Flame Crocodile King stuck its head out and let him hit it. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and greet it while it's still in a daze. Lin Yuan used his thoughts to call out to the siblings and Mendu then. He activated his talent and summoned a stream of underground water from the Crimson Flame Swamp. It slammed into the Crimson Flame Crocodile King's abdomen and lifted it up. The other three beasts then reacted and launched their own talent attacks at the Crimson Flame Crocodile King. After about 5 seconds, the dying Crimson Flame Crocodile King fell from the sky and landed heavily on the ground, creating a deep crack. However, before the Crimson Flame Crocodile King could catch its breath, a huge figure enveloped it. Question marks slowly appeared on the Crimson Flame Crocodile King's head. Immediately, the black tortoise that Lin Yuan was riding on stomped into the soil fiercely. Lin Yuan, who was lying on the black tortoise's back, nodded his head in satisfaction. He said to the siblings, "Seniors, the big lizard's bones have been broken. It won't be able to cause any trouble in a short period of time. Why don't we get our reward first?" The siblings looked at each other and nodded in satisfaction. Leaving their own territory to hunt the Beast King in the Hengduan Mountain Range was an absolute taboo in the eyes of the beasts in the Hengduan Mountain Range. Therefore, they didn't kill it. Otherwise, the siblings could have killed the Crimson Flame Crocodile King without Lin Yuan and Mendu's help. However, some things were unspoken rules. Although everyone knew about it, no beasts would say it out loud. Seeing that Lin Yuan was so smart, the Yuanyang siblings also nodded with satisfaction. Scarlet-eyed Mandarin's eyes paused for a moment on the body of the flaming crocodile king under the feet of the black tortoise, and a touch of greed flashed in her eyes. However, seeing that the black serpent did not kill the flaming crocodile king on the spot, she could only give up the idea of devouring the body of the flaming crocodile king. She could only hope that the red jade mentioned by the black serpent really had that magical effect. Of course, things had already come to this point, and they could not fall out with Lin Yuan. It did not matter if there was one less Beast King in the Hengduan Mountains, the surrounding Beast Kings would naturally annex its territory. However, if several Beast Kings were killed in succession, there would definitely be big shots coming out from deeper areas to investigate. The Flaming Crocodile King's collection was more than enough to pay them. Even if the Crimson Jade Dew wasn't as magical as the Black Snake said, they would still return to their territory with satisfaction. They would just secretly hate the Black Snake. The little actions of the Yuanyang siblings naturally did not escape Lin Yuan's eyes. Regarding this, Lin Yuan only sneered in his heart. Fays were dispensable to him. Although he could obtain attribute points by eating them, it was not as much as directly killing fey beasts or humans. If the Yuanyang siblings wanted to obtain benefits from Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't have any objections. After all, which slaughterhouse owner would complain that their pigs had eaten too much and become fat? The fire-type fey has already appeared. I have ordered the Stoneclaw Forest's fey beasts not to come close. Senior Scarlet Pupil Mandarin can go over and take the Crimson Jade Dew at any time. Now, will the two of you follow me to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, or should I wait here for the two of you to come back after retrieving the item? Lin Yuan still maintained his calm and refined appearance. He opened his mouth and revealed a silent smile. There is nothing in the periphery of the Hengduan mountain range that can threaten me. I will go and retrieve the Crimson Jade Dew. Let my sister go with you to the Scarlet Flame Swamp to retrieve the Flaming Crocodile King's collection. This is good for both of us. No one will waste time. The Scarlet Pupil Mandarin also smiled and replied with a nonchalant expression. Dog, threatening me? The smile on Lin Yuan's face disappeared, and his gaze fell on the profound ice duck. The latter nodded. Then, under Lin Yuan's signal, Men Do directly carried the dying Flaming Crocodile King on his shoulder. No matter how strong a Fey's physique was, and how terrifying its recovery ability was, it couldn't regenerate from a single drop of blood. Therefore, the Flaming Crocodile King was no longer a threat to Lin Yuan and Men Do. They could take its life at any time. The two groups of Fey beasts separated. Lin Yuan rushed to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, and the Scarlet Pupil Mandarin rushed to the Crimson Jade Dew Pond. The system had already notified him that he could submit the mission, but Lin Yuan directly ignored it. Although the Flaming Crocodile King had already been defeated by the Yuanyang siblings and Men Do, the real punishment had only just begun. Lin Yuan wanted the Flaming Crocodile King to watch as the Fey beasts in the Scarlet Flame Swamp were slaughtered. He also wanted to divide its treasures in front of it. Only in the end would he kill it. After all, with the damned system's character, if the mission reward wasn't good enough for Lin Yuan to break through to the Wisdom Realm, he would take the opportunity to kill the Flaming Crocodile King and obtain another 5 attribute points. This was the reason why Lin Yuan wanted to keep the Flaming Crocodile King. Black Ice Mandarin and Men Do's movements were very fast. Although Lin Yuan's Black Tortoise wasn't slow, it was still lacking compared to the two of them. Very quickly, it was left behind by the two. It could only watch as they chased after it. Along the way, the ground was littered with the remains of various Fey beasts. Some were frozen into ice cubes, some were crushed into meat paste, and some were even directly torn apart. The scene was extremely tragic. Moreover, among these dead Fey beasts, most of them were from the Flaming Crocodile clan. They should be the descendants of the Flaming Crocodile King. With regards to this, Lin Yuan said that it was all within his expectations. Which emperor would bring all his sons and daughters with him when he personally went to war? After all, the Flaming Crocodile King had been the Beast King in the Scarlet Flame Swamp for dozens of years. The amount of Fey beasts that it had accumulated was quite considerable. There were bound to be some ignorant people who wanted to steal some of it. Therefore, there must be some Fey beasts guarding this place. These Fey beasts that stayed behind were truly loyal to the Flaming Crocodile King. Lin Yuan was lying on the back of the Black Tortoise, slowly following the backs of the Profound Ice Duck and Men Do. He had already begun to guess in his heart that the insufferably arrogant Red Flame Crocodile King had watched its own people and descendants being slaughtered all the way. At this moment, its mood was like a big volcano that could explode at any time. Chapter 110. When Lin Yuan arrived at the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's nest, the mysterious Ice Duck and Men Do were already waiting for him. The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King was like a pile of mud that was casually thrown onto the ground by Men Do. Its eyes were bloodshot, as if it wanted to swallow everyone in front of it alive. Lin Yuan guessed that the demonic beast of the wisdom state had just condensed its monster core and could not mobilize the demonic power in the monster core to self-destruct at any time like a mountain lord. Otherwise, even if it had to sacrifice its life, it would definitely drag these bastards in front of it down with it. Lin Yuan slowly jumped down from the black tortoise's back and slowly walked to the crimson blaze crocodile king's side. His blue-white eyes flashed with a hint of ridicule as he mocked, "You're about to die, and you still want to drag us down with you? Don't say that I didn't give you a chance. If you have the ability, why don't you self-destruct?" He wasn't unfamiliar with the crimson blaze crocodile king's gaze. Blizzard also had the same gaze before it died. The days of eating raw meat and drinking blood had been too long, and the softness of Lin Yuan's human side had long dissipated. Especially after he saved the human woman, he attracted the covetous eyes of the Liu family, which made him even more cold-hearted. "Take the thing. I admit defeat this time." The crimson blaze crocodile king gritted its teeth and looked at the expressionless mysterious ice duck and Mendo. It took a deep breath. "Big lizard, shouldn't you have a sense of propriety when you're dreaming? We only had a small conflict before, so if you stayed in your swamp, I wouldn't find trouble with you. But this time, we're already at war, and you just happened to fall into my hands. Tell me, what reason do I have to let you go?" Lin Yuan blinked his eyes and replied jokingly. "You don't dare to kill me. If you kill me, you'll all die." The crimson blaze crocodile king's scarlet eyes stared at Lin Yuan. Its eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. Both Lin Yuan and the door were slightly startled when they heard that. "Is this thing crazy? I'm already in this situation. Where did it get the confidence that I won't die?" The profound ice duck slightly raised its wings and said in a deep voice, "What it said might be true. I heard that the red flame crocodile king seems to be the illegitimate son of a desolate demon realm demonic beast in the Hengduan Mountains. However, it did not inherit its father's bloodline. Instead, it inherited its mother's bloodline. In this lifetime, it could never reach the desolate demon realm. Therefore, it was exiled to the outskirts of the Hengduan Mountains by its father. The Red Flame Crocodile King is its mother's clan." Speaking of this, the mysterious ice duck paused for a moment before continuing, "But this is only what I've heard. Anyway, with my brother's status, we can't kill the Hengduan Mountain Range's Beast King. Otherwise, we'll be punished. It's up to you whether to kill it or not." These words were both true and false. Part of it was because of the rules of the Hengduan Mountains, and the other part was because of the fear of the rumors. When he heard the two words, desolate demon, Lin Yuan's mind slightly exploded. After all, this was a realm he had never heard of before. There were 10 levels of awakened demonic beasts. Above them were intelligent greater demons, and above them were mountain masters or river masters. They could control the rules of a certain area, and with a thought, they could affect the weather. As for the desolate demon realm, it was clearly above the mountain masters and river masters. However, Lin Yuan quickly regained his composure. Seeing that Mendo was looking at him, Lin Yuan finally spat out his snake tongue. Then, Lin Yuan leisurely said, "What rumors and hearsay? 80% of them are lies. If its father is really a desolate demon, then even if it doesn't have the climate, it can still encircle a territory in a slightly deeper area of the Hengduan mountain range with its father's remaining power. Why would it run to the outermost area of the Hengduan mountain range to face the human demon slayer?" When Lin Yuan said this, the fear in Mendo and Xian Bing Yang's eyes dissipated a little. Hearing this, it seemed to make some sense. Speaking of bloodlines, there are people who say that I'm an ancient species and have dragon blood in my body. Not long ago, I even met a greater demon from the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas. Lin Yuan grinned at the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King and sneered, "Big lizard, this reason isn't enough for you to live. Why don't you come up with something more practical? Take out whatever treasures you've hidden. Maybe you can exchange it for your life." The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King coldly snorted and turned its head to the side, ignoring Lin Yuan. It wasn't that it didn't have any treasures that it had hidden, and it wasn't that it wasn't interested in Lin Yuan's suggestion. It was just that it had secretly investigated Lin Yuan's words and deeds. This bastard's treachery was a common occurrence. Cooperating with one party to suppress the other party, and in the end, taking advantage of both parties was a basic operation for the Black Snake. Even if it handed over its treasures, it would only let the other party earn a little more, and it wouldn't be able to keep its life. Instead, it would expose its own guilt and make the Black Snake even more brazen in attacking it. Then there's no other way. Lin Yuan retracted his tongue and stared coldly at the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King. He moved his body and bit the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's soft nose, slowly injecting the dove wine's poison into its body. Lin Yuan felt the vitality of the flaming red Crocodile King slowly depleting, and its body slowly stiffened under his mouth, but Lin Yuan didn't see any fear in the eyes of the flaming red Crocodile King. Instead, it looked at him with ridicule. This behavior made Lin Yuan's heart sink. This bastard, don't tell me he really has an awesome father? Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully killing the Wisdom Perception demonic beast, Crimson Blaze Crocodile. Reward, 5 attribute points. The familiar system notification rang in Lin Yuan's mind. Only then did Lin Yuan regain some of his calmness. Was having a desolate demon realm father that impressive? Yes, it was indeed impressive. However, from the behavior of the Yuanyang siblings, although the demonic beasts in the Hengduan mountain range were chaotic, they still had their own set of rules. As long as he didn't fall into the hands of that desolate demon, it could only secretly hate him for a period of time. As the saying goes, when there are too many lice, it won't itch. There were plenty of people who hated Lin Yuan. There was even the Lu family head in Mountain Blocking City who had taken over his body. As long as the other party didn't immediately find trouble with him, there was still time for it to develop. When the two sides really met, Lin Yuan would press it to the ground and beat it up. He would let it understand why a cheat was called a cheat. Done, let's split the loot. Lin Yuan's words were short and simple. He signaled the black tortoise to wait here. Then, he led the way into the treasury left behind by the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King. In an instant, streams of rich spiritual energy flowed into Lin Yuan's body. Even his extremely sensitive sense of smell failed him at this moment. He couldn't distinguish what was what from the various fragrances. Chapter 111. With the 5 attribute points in hand, Lin Yuan directly submitted the mission. Everything the flaming red Crocodile King could pay was taken away by him, including its own life. Lin Yuan was just a normal person in his previous life. Although he was involved in cultivation in this life, he was just a normal demon beast. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to play with the flaming red Crocodile King's soul. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing the flaming red Crocodile King. Mission Battle of the Beast Kings completed. Completion rate is 80%. Evaluation is A-. Rewards are being calculated. Host has killed the flaming red Crocodile King. Reward, 5 attribute points, flaming red crocodile scale X1, already stored in the resource storage. The system notification sounded in his ears. Lin Yuan glanced at his attribute panel. Including the reward, he received exactly 10 attribute points. After adding them to the panel, he would be able to break through to the wisdom realm. As for the flaming red crocodile scale, Lin Yuan directly skipped over it. His resource warehouse was already filled with items, but he had yet to successfully summon the resource warehouse panel. The system did not directly tell him what the items he obtained from killing his opponents were used for. It was likely that they would be used in some sort of unlocked model. Let's start counting first. Standing in front of the flaming red Crocodile King's treasury, the profound ice duck's eyes revealed a strange look. This black snake's ruthless and unruly reputation was not a secret in the circle of demon beasts. But it didn't think that this black snake would be so arrogant. Hearing that the flaming red Crocodile King might have a desolate demon beast as a father couldn't extinguish its killing intent. What if these demon beasts with no background fell into the hands of this black snake? If this was a novel model, the Xian Bingyang at this moment would probably have the idea that this child must not be left alive, and then brainlessly provoke friction between her and Lin Yuan, and finally be eaten by Lin Yuan together with her skin and bones. Unfortunately, this was not a novel model. The profound ice duck was also not a short-sighted leader of a small clan. Towards Lin Yuan's ruthlessness, it had secretly decided that if there was no reason to, it would not become enemies with Lin Yuan in the future. Lin Yuan replied absent-mindedly. He really had no interest in the treasury of a fire-type demonic beast. However, since he was already here, he had to take a closer look so that he could remember how much this pair of lovebirds had taken from him so that he could collect the debt later. However, the work of counting didn't have anything to do with Lin Yuan. The profound ice duck led Men Do into the treasury. First, they roughly counted the number and value of the phase. Then, according to Lin Yuan's promise, the profound ice duck took away 70% of the phase and signaled Men Do to move the rest. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, was thinking about the flaming red crocodile king's every move. The system didn't notify him that his relationship with any faction had worsened. Obviously, the news of the flaming red crocodile king's death hadn't spread yet. Or perhaps, its father in the desolate demon realm was just like what Lin Yuan was thinking. But if it was the latter, Lin Yuan couldn't explain it. The flaming red crocodile king's mocking eyes before it died made it seem like Lin Yuan was really going to die. It was just one step ahead of him. Ding! Discovered one high-grade ice heart fruit. The system broadcast once again appeared in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan's body trembled. He suddenly turned his head towards the direction of the profound ice duck. When the system gave out the notification, he felt an extremely strong ice attribute spiritual energy from the pile of junk behind the profound ice duck. The ice heart fruit is one of the rare fruits of heaven and earth. It doesn't depend on any plants to grow. Even a weed by the roadside can grow into an ice heart fruit. It is said that the ice heart fruit is the spirit of the ice element in the world. If one is lucky enough to eat an ice heart fruit, even if one is an ordinary person, he or she can become the favorite of ice attribute cultivation. Following the system's voice, Lin Yuan's gaze also fixed on the profound ice duck's back. As far as his eyes could see, there was a small azure fruit. It was about the size of a grown man's fist. Its shape was similar to a human's heart. Its surface was crystal clear and didn't even have any color. Therefore, he could clearly see that the sticky azure fruit juice was slowly flowing inside. That wasn't fruit juice. That was the purest ice elemental energy in the world. The name Ice Heart Fruit didn't sound like much, but the system's introduction was very clear. Even if an ordinary person ate an Ice Heart Fruit, he or she could become the favorite of ice attribute cultivation. To put it bluntly, this ability could change the aptitude of the person who ate it. The second ding didn't sound. This meant that although the ice heart fruit had been born, it wasn't ripe yet and couldn't be eaten directly. Otherwise, not only would it not be beneficial, it would also be harmful. Black Snake, are you going back on your word? The profound ice duck saw Lin Yuan's gaze and immediately became angry. This black snake was lying on the back of the black tortoise. It didn't reveal anything, as if it was really inconvenient to move. However, from the way it easily killed the flaming red crocodile king, it was obvious that this guy was still hiding something. It deliberately showed that it was weak and didn't join in the killing of the flaming red crocodile king. This black snake that could kill an intelligent state monster as a level 10 monster, although it wasn't a big enemy, it was definitely an opponent that couldn't be underestimated. Lin Yuan sneered, slowly coiled his snake body, and directly confronted the mysterious ice duck, whose hair was standing on end. If it wasn't necessary, he really didn't want to have a conflict with this pair of siblings over the ice heart fruit. Something that could change one's aptitude might be a dream for others, but to Lin Yuan who had the system, aptitude was just a joke. As long as he recovered his strength, he would be able to kill those intelligent state monsters. His strength would rise at a speed that would make those monstrous geniuses ashamed to face others. However, Lin Yuan understood this cheating system too well. The item's introduction had already sounded. Then, how far could the mission to snatch the item be? If there was anything to blame, it could only be blamed on the profound ice duck's bad luck. A rootless ice heart fruit suddenly grew out of its pile of phase. Moreover, it was about to mature, which attracted the system's evil gaze. Therefore, Lin Yuan could only apologize. Do, who was moving the phase, hesitated for a moment. He placed the phase in his hands to the side and summoned his thick stone staff to strike the ground. His gaze faintly fell on the profound ice duck. Do, you go out. I will train with it alone. Just don't let its little brother in. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and used his mind to communicate with Do. Chapter 112. A total of 28 attribute points, under the influence of Lin Yuan's will, slowly turned into attribute values. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's body started to change. First, it kept expanding. From a 100-meter-long python, it slowly became 200 meters long and 20 meters thick. At a glance, other than a pair of blue and white vertical pupils, it was covered in thick black scales. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. Reward, Wisdom State Gift Pack X1. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. Host can now speak and automatically grasp the demon race's innate skill, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State and successfully passing the novice stage. Reward, innate skill advancement chance 1. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. The system is about to update. Mission detected. Update cancelled. Update will be delayed until host completes the mission. Ding! Congratulations to host for encountering a rare heaven and earth spiritual item. Triggered the mission, Fate, too wonderful for words. Name, Fate, too wonderful for words. Description: as a snake favored by fate, after the birth of the blood spirit, you have encountered a heaven and earth spiritual item formed by ice elements. Since this is the case, what reason do you have to reject this opportunity? Go, tell these demonic beasts a simple truth. There are no allies in the jungle. The strong preys on the weak. This is the truth. Mission reward, depends on completion. Failure punishment, death. A series of system announcements rang out. Lin Yuan blinked his eyes and looked at Xian Bingyang with even less kindness. Sister, I'm sorry. You really can't blame me for not being a snake. It's just that the system has nailed you into a coffin. The mission reward depends on completion. This meant that if Lin Yuan killed Xian Bingyang and obtained the ice heart fruit, he would at least receive 2 sets of attribute points as a reward. Furthermore, he would also be able to obtain a set of materials from Xian Bingyang. Hence, the system's reward basically extinguished Lin Yuan's intention of obtaining the ice heart fruit from Xian Bingyang. After all, even if Lin Yuan wanted to make things difficult for anyone, he would not make things difficult for himself, right? So many attribute points, how could he not want them? Host, Lin Yuan status, sky-piercing black python, in the process of transforming into a flood dragon. Realm, 11/20 innate skill. 1. Identify the enemy's position by smell, cannot be upgraded. 2. Forming an accurate image within 500 meters around the body according to the smell. 0/100. Water/ice control. 2/100. 4. Blood sacrifice wish spell, make a wish with one's own blood or the blood of other living beings, can be replaced by attribute points, as a sacrifice. Whether the wish is fulfilled or not depends on the strength of the wish and the quality of the sacrifice. Unable to advance. 5. Dragon Snake Scale Armor. When the scale armor is in good condition, it can provide the host with a 20% increase in defense. Unable to advance. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The ancient Saint Kings ruled the world because they had reached the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth realm. To cultivators, the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was the foundation of their Tao. After comprehending this skill, they could control the size of their body at will. The smallest size could not be smaller than the smallest size of their species, and the largest size could not exceed their original size. Can be evolved. Speed, 30 defense, 30 plus 6 attack, 40 demon power, 100 allocable points, 0 martial arts, golden body secrets, 68 out of 100, skills, 1. Death coil, 150/300, 2. Poison of poisoned wine, 80/300, 3. Tail attack, 40/100, 4. Blood boil technique, 2 out of 100, 5. All things have spirit, can be used to communicate with other living beings. Unable to advance, items, damaged feather, can be repaired, petrified eye. Looking at his new attribute panel, Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Luckily, he had not started a fight with Xian Bingyang yet. Thus, this short period of time would not cost him his life. The lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was a skill that all intelligent demonic beasts knew. However, it was similar to Meng Do, which could only control its own size. However, the name given by the system caused Lin Yuan to be quite shocked. In his previous life, the Taoists believed that the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was a type of Tao. However, the journey to the west of the 4 great classical novels only listed it as a technique. It was said that it could transform one's body into a giant. Regardless of whether it was the former or the latter, this skill could be said to be unbelievably awesome. Look at the people in the journey to the west who knew the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. There was the Erlang sage who only listened to the tune but did not listen. There was also the monkey king of the Dongxing divine continent, Qi Tianxing, who could wreak havoc in the heavenly palace. Whether a technique was awesome or not, one could not only look at the system description. One had to think about who knew the technique and what they had done with it. Although this skill had the word pseudo in front of it, the fact that it could be advanced made Lin Yuan's heart burn with passion. After hesitating for a moment, Lin Yuan directly used up the chance to advance his innate skill and added it to his ice, innate skill. After all, against an opponent like the Xian Bingyang, even Lin Yuan had to use his full strength. If the Xian Bingyang escaped from his hands, it would not be as simple as just losing attribute points. If it met up with the scarlet-eyed mandarin, this pair of siblings would become a nightmare that Lin Yuan would not be able to get rid of for a long time. Things often had a negative side. If Lin Yuan could take down the Xian Bingyang here, he could take the opportunity to kill the scarlet-eyed mandarin and eat the entire pair of siblings. Although it was too early and he could not take over their territory as planned, if he could eat up the scarlet-eyed mandarin and the scarlet crocodile king's treasures, this transaction would not be too bad. Black snake. Speak. The Xian Bingyang coldly looked at Lin Yuan, its eyes incomparably gloomy. Because Lin Yuan and Meng Do's communication had been through telepathy, Lin Yuan could block it. Although it had a certain degree of vigilance against Lin Yuan, in the end it did not fall out with him. It only felt that the black snake's body was coiled up and staring at it, so it felt that something was wrong. Seeing that Lin Yuan had suddenly broken through in front of it, the Xian Bingyang did not become more nervous, but instead heaved a sigh of relief. It felt that Lin Yuan's sudden pause was because he had broken through too suddenly, and not because he wanted to snatch its share of the treasures. But, this black snake had broken through for so long, why was it still staring at it? Don't be noisy. Lin Yuan suddenly opened his mouth, and spoke out the common language of the Sky Martial continent. A pair of blue and white vertical pupils rippled with a faint light, and then the blue and white pupils started to change. The left pupil changed back and forth between azure blue and shattered ice white, and finally stopped at azure blue, and at the same time, the right pupil also stopped at shattered ice white. This pair of pupils were different colors, and when the gaze landed on the Xian Bingyang's face, it inexplicably caused the Xian Bingyang to shiver. The Xian Bingyang opened its mouth, but not a single word came out. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see that the Xian Bingyang's body was trembling slightly under Lin Yuan's gaze. Chapter 113. On Lin Yuan's attribute panel, the water control, ice, which was originally side by side, had now become 2 talents. 3. Monarch of water, your ability to control water has reached a certain level. In front of you, most methods of controlling water flow are so shallow and inferior. As long as you have a thought, you can deprive your opponent of their ability to control water flow at any time. Can evolve. Note, those who get beaten up are those who can fight, those who drown are those who know water. 4. Formless ice. Your control over the ice element has reached a certain level. You are no longer the little trash that can only freeze water to hurt people. Now, with your water talent, you can even freeze water in the air, turning your ice into formless. Can evolve. Note, the polar region is a very harsh place. When you realize the cold, you are not far from death. It was not a loss to use the opportunity to advance his talent. After all, one talent had become 2 talents. Anyway, the system did not limit how many skills he could master at most, so of course, the more abilities he had, the better. Moreover, although he could switch the operation mode at any time with the previous talent, Lin Yuan had to first spray the water and then freeze the water. It seemed that there was no gap, but the requirements for speed and accuracy were very high, and it was extremely exhausting. But now, one talent had become 2 talents. Lin Yuan did not need to switch talents anymore. Now, he could use both talents at the same time. For example, Lin Yuan could sense the water in the air and then gather the water around a target. Then, he would use the ice ability to freeze the target. When the target realized it, he would have already become an ice cube. The formless of the formless ice referred to before the ability was activated. It did not mean that it could not be seen. It could only be said that the system was very realistic. Although it did not mind Lin Yuan taking advantage of the system's loopholes, it would not give Lin Yuan free benefits. The ice manipulation ability was originally an additional ability of Lin Yuan's water manipulation ability. Even if it was a new talent and could be used at the same time, it still had to be used together with his water manipulation ability. Time is running out. Are you ready to die? Lin Yuan looked at the profound ice duck and suddenly said with a smile. The profound ice duck looked at Lin Yuan in a daze. As an ice-type demonic beast, Lin Yuan could feel the ice heart fruit ripening behind him. How could he not know? However, it had been wary of Lin Yuan, so it didn't turn around to confirm what the ice-type Fae that had suddenly matured was. Furthermore, it didn't quite understand why the maturing of an ice-type spirit item could make the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King turn against it without even blinking an eye. The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had planned to share 70% of its treasures with them. Or perhaps, this was its plan from the very beginning? No. No. This fellow's absent-mindedness earlier was definitely not an act. It was really not interested in the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's storage. What really made it angry was the ice-type Fae behind him that had just revealed its aura. Suddenly, the profound ice duck felt a headache coming on. It had always been labeled as wise and far-sighted, but it couldn't guess what Lin Yuan was thinking at all. Wait. Wasn't it just a spiritual item? I'll give it to you. The profound ice duck took 2 steps back and picked up the unripe ice heart fruit on the ground. It maintained a vigilant distance and tried to calm itself down. It tried to communicate with Lin Yuan. Black Snake, you are a demonic beast with a lot of potential. The outer area of the Hengduan mountain range is definitely not a place for you. In the future, you will definitely go deeper. Therefore, my brother and I are very optimistic about you. It's just a spiritual item. If you want, I can give it to you at any time. Looking at the profound ice duck's performance, Lin Yuan thought of the saying that women in his previous life were all liars. Now, it seemed like the female bird was also the same. When this pair of siblings came over to ask for benefits, it could be said that they were like a lion opening its mouth. Until Lin Yuan used the Scarlet Jade Dew to shut the Scarlet Eye Duck's mouth. In the end, when they saw that the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had come with ill intentions, the pair of siblings actually wanted to retreat again. They hinted that Lin Yuan would give them a good reward and let them leave. They didn't intend to participate in this matter. Lin Yuan had gotten to this point by accident. Now that he had revealed his true intentions, wouldn't it be too pretentious to say that he was optimistic, appreciative, and friendly? However, it didn't matter. Anyway, it still needed some time to activate the ability. Lin Yuan said with a mischievous tone, I'm really sorry, Senior Profound Ice Duck. This junior has just broken through and obtained some memories from the bloodline. The spiritual fruit in your hand is really too important to this junior. Therefore, I have offended you before. As his voice fell, Lin Yuan really stopped and looked at the Profound Ice Duck with a sincere gaze. The Profound Ice Duck's eyes flashed with a trace of mockery and said with a smile, "So that's how it is. Looks like your bloodline is not ordinary. To be able to leave behind a memory inheritance, it seems like this spiritual fruit was born because of the power in your bloodline. Giving it to you can be considered as returning it to its rightful owner, but, speaking up to here," it paused and a trace of curiosity flashed in its eyes, "just what is this spiritual fruit?" The wisdom state Lin Yuan was a water-type demonic beast. In the Profound Ice Duck's eyes, it was no different from a big meal. Adding on the corpse of the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King from before, if the Scarlet Jade Dew and the spiritual fruit in its hand were all extraordinary treasures, then it and its little brother could be said to have earned a lot from this trip. Now it only needed to stall for time and wait for its little brother to come over. Then they could work together to kill this black snake and everything would be fine. Seeing the hesitation in Lin Yuan's eyes, the Profound Ice Duck smiled and said, "Don't worry. Since it's a treasure born from your bloodline, then it's most useful to you. To other demonic beasts, it's better than nothing. I'm more inclined to cultivate a strong and reliable ally, so I'm really just curious." "So that's how it is." Lin Yuan showed a look of sudden realization, and immediately said with a smile, "The name of this spiritual fruit is You Are Really Stupid." "You are really stupid?" This spiritual fruit's name, no. The Profound Ice Duck almost instinctively wanted to flap its wings to dodge. However, it didn't feel the existence of its wings. At the same time that it had this thought, Lin Yuan had already activated his ability and turned all the water molecules attached to its body into ice. In the blink of an eye, the Profound Ice Duck was turned into an exquisite ice sculpture by Lin Yuan. Although it was only a thin layer, Lin Yuan was now a wisdom state demonic beast and his talent had been upgraded to the second stage. Moreover, he had launched a surprise attack, so of course it wouldn't be easy to remove it. Therefore, Lin Yuan slowly moved his body in front of the Profound Ice Duck and gently removed the ice heart fruit from its mouth. Ding! The system's notification sounded at this moment. This ice heart fruit had matured. Chapter 114. Although Lin Yuan acted suddenly, he didn't expect to use ice magic to kill an ice monster with a higher level than him. He just wanted to temporarily control the ice monster so that he could snatch the ice heart fruit. As for giving it a fatal blow before it escaped, Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and gave up this tempting idea. He wasn't clear about his current ice control ability. His attack might not be able to kill the Profound Ice Duck, but it might even help the Profound Ice Duck break out of the seal. Lin Yuan suddenly turned his head and looked gloomily in the direction of the treasure house. An extremely rich fire element aura was gathering there, which made him, a water monster, feel extremely uncomfortable. After waiting for a moment, there was a burst of loud rumbling outside. There was a fire monster outside bombarding indiscriminately. Without thinking, it must be the scarlet pupil mandarin duck. But, this guy was so careful. After getting the Scarlet Jade Dew, it didn't directly swallow it. Instead, it rushed to the treasure house of the Red Flame Crocodile King to meet with his sister. Lin Yuan gritted his teeth and wrapped his body around the ice sculpture of the Profound Ice Duck. The sound of ice cracking slowly sounded in his ears. Obviously, the Profound Ice Duck had found the weakness of Lin Yuan's ice magic and was trying to break out of the ice. This method of breaking out could only be heard when Lin Yuan got close. It was different from Blizzard and Chen Yen, who relied on brute force to break through. The Profound Ice Duck was like a student of Lin Yuan's previous life solving math problems. After figuring out Lin Yuan's formula, it began to solve the problem through its own steps. In this way, not only could it break through silently, but it could also deprive Lin Yuan of control of the ice magic and achieve a counter effect. Good idea, but unfortunately, it was cheated by my brother. Lin Yuan sneered and completely wrapped the ice, turning himself into an oval shape. If it wasn't for the fact that the scarlet pupil mandarin duck was already fighting with the door, Lin Yuan wouldn't have panicked and attacked the profound ice duck. Naturally, he wouldn't have noticed the profound ice duck's ingenious method of breaking out of the situation. It was very likely that he would be caught off guard by the profound ice duck and let the profound ice duck fly away. As expected, the monsters in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range were far from the monsters in the periphery. Just like the monsters in the periphery of the Hengduan mountain range, the monsters in the monster forest couldn't be provoked. While waiting for the profound ice duck to break out of the ice, Lin Yuan was even thinking, the Hengduan mountains had its own set of rules. Could there be a royal court like the nomads in his previous life? Normally, the various monster beast clans would fight for themselves, and the royal court could gather countless monster beasts to form an army with a single order. The more he thought about it, the more likely Lin Yuan felt this was. After all, the living environment of the demonic beasts in this world was extremely harsh. The Hengduan mountain range was slightly better, but the demonic beasts outside were constantly being hunted by humans. Even mountain lord level demonic beasts were nothing more than delicacies in the eyes of humans. The monster side seemed to only be the Hengduan mountain range and the dragon palace of the four seas. The Hengduan mountain range had the advantage of terrain, and the humans were all counting on the monsters in the Hengduan mountain range to block the enemy's army. Therefore, they only hunted and didn't really have a falling out with the monsters in the Hengduan mountain range. As for the dragon palace of the four seas, they were completely far away in the sea and didn't compete with the humans for land. Therefore, the humans wouldn't overly offend the dragon palace of the four seas. Thinking about it this way, it seemed that the monsters in this world were really declining and were on the verge of extinction. Black Snake, the profound ice duck broke out of the ice with great difficulty and subconsciously wanted to say a few harsh words. However, it suddenly realized that there were only black scales in front of it, and there wasn't even a trace of light. After a moment, Lin Yuan directly tightened all the muscles in his body and began to squeeze the profound ice duck's body. The profound ice duck subconsciously wanted to control the ice, but to its horror, it realized that the ice that it took so much effort to control had melted into a clear liquid on the ground. Dual element monster. The profound ice duck gritted its teeth, and a trace of fear flashed across its eyes. Compared to the red flame crocodile king's legendary father in the desolate demon realm, it felt that the black snake in front of it was the real existence with a great background. Dual attribute monster beasts were not a legend. In fact, dual attribute monster beasts or even multi-attribute monster beasts were not rare. It was just that behind each of them stood an incomparably powerful clan. The parents were existences of the desolate monster realm at the very least. Between powerhouses, the chances of giving birth to a descendant were extremely low. But every descendant that was born had the possibility of inheriting all the abilities of their parents. This was also the reason why monsters valued bloodlines. This black snake that suddenly rose to fame in the Hengduan mountain range, and as a level 10 monster, could it really be the son of some big shot in the dragon palace? Black snake, as long as you are willing to let me go, I am willing to submit to you. The profound ice duck begged in a low voice while resisting Lin Yuan's power that was strangling it. It didn't dare to continue to be enemies with Lin Yuan, not only because it was forced into a desperate situation by Lin Yuan, but also because it was certain that Lin Yuan must have a pair of amazing parents. It was even possible that he was the son of some dragon king from the dragon palace of the four seas. Although it didn't know why the son of the dragon palace would appear in the Hengduan mountain range, it couldn't think of any other reason why Lin Yuan was so terrifying. Ha! Lin Yuan sneered. Last time when Shen Yan swore loyalty to him, he was more or less a little hesitant. However, the profound ice duck's loyalty didn't cause a ripple in his heart. Crack! Crack! The profound ice duck's bones began to crack, as if it could no longer withstand such a terrifying pressure and could collapse at any time. The great terror between life and death had completely enveloped the profound ice duck's heart. Brother! Save me! The profound ice duck didn't care about offending Lin Yuan. It struggled and shouted loudly in the direction of the cave. Outside the cave, the scarlet-eye mandarin duck, who was fighting with Mendo, narrowed its eyes. It flapped its wings and forced Mendo away. Its body turned into a ray of light and flew into the cave. However, Mendo shook its head. The stone rod in its hand shattered. Then, it slammed its hand into the ground. Rumble. Rumble. The cave wasn't spacious to begin with. In an instant, a huge stone barrier rose from the ground and blocked the scarlet-eyed duck. The scarlet-eyed duck's momentum didn't stop. It crashed into the stone about 3 meters deep before it wobbled out. Its eyes were incomparably cold as it looked at Mendo and said in a cold voice, "Mendo, undo your technique. I will only kill that black snake." Chapter 115. Mendo sneered and didn't respond to Scarlet Pupil Yuan. He just waved at Scarlet Pupil Yuan provocatively. Scarlet Pupil Yuan retracted her wings and stared at Mendo with burning eyes. She said in a deep voice, "Mendo, you should know that even if they are all wisdom state beasts, the difference in strength is extremely huge. That black snake may be able to kill a few weak guys, but in front of a real powerhouse, it is just an ant-like level 10 beast. You don't really think that it can kill my sister, do you?" Mendo tilted his head, didn't speak, and didn't take the initiative to attack. Scarlet Pupil Yuan grinned and continued, "Why don't you and I work together? I will save my sister, and all the spiritual items will be left to you. As long as the black snake dies, you will be the new beast king of Stoneclaw Forest and Scarlet Flame Swamp. With my sister and me supporting you, even if the nearby beast kings have the guts, they won't dare to touch your territory. How about it?" Although the beast king meant responsibility, which beast in the Hengduan mountain range didn't want to be the beast king? All the beasts in the territory had to listen to their command. Under the condition that it didn't affect the ecological chain, they could also suppress other beasts according to their wishes. Those beasts wouldn't dare to say anything even if they were angry. They also had to offer some spiritual items or beast flesh as offerings to the beast king. When Mendo was still a cub, his biggest wish was to take over the position of Three-Eyed Ape and become the new beast king of Stoneclaw Forest. He wanted to lead the Stoneclaw clan to a higher realm and even enter the deeper areas of the Hengduan mountain range. Until the black snake appeared out of nowhere. Three-Eyed Ape almost released all its goodwill. Even before its death, it made Mendo swear to assist the black snake well. It was obviously impossible to say that Mendo didn't have any resentment in his heart. After all, the appearance of the black snake deprived everything that should belong to him. However, Three-Eyed Ape's instructions before its death still made Mendo make his own choice. Mendo raised his eyelids and said expressionlessly, "That's all you can do, right? I've never heard that you have any hope of entering the deeper regions. This black snake has just been born. I've seen it grow from a level 7 demonic beast to what it is today with my own eyes. In the future, its achievements are definitely not something that you frogs at the bottom of a well can imagine. What makes you think that I'll give up a big boat to sit on your leaky boat?" The scarlet-eye mandarin duck's crimson wings slowly straightened, and its gaze suddenly turned cold. "All right, since you don't want the face I gave you, then don't blame me for breaking the rules. Today, both you and Black Snake will die." Shameless boasting. Mendo sneered and said indifferently, "That's all you've got. If I had both my hands, killing you would be as easy as killing an ant." Having said that, Mendo's eyes flashed with worry. The scarlet-eye mandarin duck was right. The gap between the wisdom state demonic beasts could be described as the gap between heaven and earth. Just like Blizzard and Pingxiu, they could barely tie with him. Although he knew that the black snake had entered the wisdom state, he still wasn't optimistic that the black snake could kill the profound ice duck. It was just that miracles happened one after another to the black snake, so Mendo had a trace of trust in the black snake. He didn't directly join the scarlet-eye mandarin duck to kill the black snake. Inside the cave, Lin Yuan constantly launched the death entanglement, strangling the profound ice duck that was entangled by him. His gaze fell on the direction outside the cave from time to time. So far, the scarlet-eye mandarin duck still showed no signs of rushing in. This was good news for him. It was not that there was no trust between demonic beasts, but for demonic beasts that followed the law of the jungle, friendship and family were things that could be abandoned at will. If Mendo thought that he would definitely lose, it was very likely that he would join forces with the siblings to deal with him. At present, Mendo seemed to still believe that he could win. Black Snake, that crippled mountain-shaking ape can't hold my brother back at all. You don't know how terrifying the power in my brother's body is. If it wasn't for me, he would have already entered a deeper area to cultivate. If you let me go now, what I said before still stands. For the sake of the expert behind you, I can pledge my loyalty to you. If you really don't trust me, my brother and I will leave directly. We will never trouble you. How about it? The profound ice duck's expression kept changing, and a faint cold light flashed in her eyes. Then I'm really sorry. Not to mention that I don't have an expert behind me. Even if I do, I won't let you and your brother go. I have always only believed in myself. If I feel that you will bring me trouble in the future, then whatever you say is useless. For me, any threat that can be killed in advance must be killed in advance. Lin Yuan slowly responded to the profound ice duck. His muscles were still constantly tightening, but he was secretly surprised. Was the gap between the Wisdom Realm demonic beasts really that big? Blizzard was also a peak Wisdom Realm demonic beast. When he was at level 10, he could easily kill it, and the profound ice duck also had no power to fight back. However, Lin Yuan had broken through to the Wisdom Realm, and all of his attributes had exceeded 100 points. The profound ice duck could actually hold on for so long. Although its bones kept cracking, strictly speaking, Lin Yuan's strength seemed to be limited to this step. Then drag it out. When my brother kills that cripple, it will be your turn. The profound ice duck coldly snorted, and her eyes were incomparably gloomy. She seemed to be extremely angry at Lin Yuan for not giving her face. No expert behind him? Liar. Demonic beast bloodline was no joke. The reason why Mendo could suppress the 3 beast kings was because the mountain-shaking ape's bloodline was much more terrifying than the 3 beast kings. Therefore, within the same realm, even if Mendo didn't stand at the top of the pyramid, he was still a first-rate expert. How could the Black Snake, a new king, not be investigated? The news of the Jiao Snake and the Jiao Snake had already spread. This Black Snake's realm was far inferior to those demonic beasts, but it could ignore the bloodline pressure of those snake-type demonic beasts. Now, it had revealed that it was a dual-type demonic beast. If it didn't have powerful parents behind it, then it would be strange. Unfortunately, the profound ice duck would never understand what a real cheat was. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's snake body swung, and like a black whip, it suddenly opened its mouth and bit the profound ice duck's head, and its sharp poisonous fangs pierced into the profound ice duck's body. Poison? That kind of thing is useless to me. The profound ice duck coldly sneered and couldn't help but mock. Chapter 116. Ice-type monster beasts could freeze part of their blood at any time, making their blood flow slow down. Even if the poison entered the body of an ice-type monster beast, the speed of its outbreak would be infinitely delayed. But Lin Yuan's poison was something that even Chen Yan could resist. What reason did it have to fear? However, in the next moment, the sneer on the profound ice duck's face suddenly stiffened. Because it discovered that Lin Yuan had only injected a small amount of poison into its body, and then withdrew its poisonous fangs. Then, the profound ice duck felt its body uncontrollably being pulled up. Originally, Lin Yuan had only bitten its head, but in less than 2 breaths, half of its body had been swallowed by Lin Yuan. This black snake, is it crazy? The profound ice duck never thought that the black snake didn't intend to use its poison to drag it to death, but instead wanted to directly swallow it whole. Was it not afraid of eating itself to death? Those monster beasts with incomparably strong defense had incomparably weak flesh and blood. If it could chew and swallow the monster beast in its mouth, it would be fine, but Lin Yuan, as a snake, obviously didn't have the ability to chew, so it could only swallow the profound ice duck in its mouth. This kind of behavior was called courting death for other monster beasts. But for Lin Yuan, it was just repeating the same old trick. Even Blood Spirit, who could rely on blood to regenerate, was dragged to death by him. What kind of storm could a mere profound ice duck set off? Black Snake. Black Snake. Let go of me. The profound ice duck kept struggling, but it didn't have any effect. It tried to mobilize the ice element to attack the black snake's flesh and blood, but was surprised to find that the black snake's flesh and blood was not bright red, but a layer of faint gold. Its ice element magic fell on the black snake's flesh and blood, but didn't even cause a trace of damage. At this point, the profound ice duck was almost in despair. It felt that it shouldn't have separated from its younger brother, otherwise it wouldn't have given the black snake an opportunity. After swallowing the entire profound ice duck into his stomach, Lin Yuan's body directly swelled up by a third. Even the slightest movement made him feel a tearing pain in his body. This was probably a common problem of snake-type demon beasts. All their prey was swallowed directly, so it was easy for their stomach to swell. Therefore, snake-type demon beasts would generally find a place to sleep after eating. After completely digesting the flesh in their stomach, they would then hunt again. In the past, Lin Yuan had done the same thing. After eating, he would return to the cave to rest. If there was a fight, he would not eat until he was full. But the current situation did not allow for that. Lin Yuan could only swallow the mysterious ice duck and then leave the cave. He would join forces with the Mendo to deal with the scarlet-eyed duck. Hundreds of thoughts flashed through his mind in an instant. Lin Yuan even began to consider whether he should directly abandon the Mendo and the phase here and come out again after completely digesting the mysterious ice duck. After all, he had already recovered his combat strength and did not need the Mendo. Although he would be safe for a short period of time, the drawbacks were obvious. From now on, the scarlet-eyed duck would be his mortal enemy. Every action he took could lead to the scarlet-eyed duck attacking him. Moreover, after abandoning the Mendo, the Shattered Stone clan would definitely cut off all ties with him. The other 3 clans would also not put him in their eyes as a beast king. They might even start a rebellion. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan had already arrived behind the Mendo's raised rock barrier and shouted, "Mendo, I have already dealt with the mysterious ice duck. Open the door." The moment his voice fell, the rock barrier in front of him shattered inch by inch, and the sun outside shone in once again. Also, the scarlet-eyed duck threw a huge fireball. The fireball smashed onto Lin Yuan's body. Lin Yuan's body swayed for a moment before the fireball pierced through Lin Yuan's body and smashed into the ground, instantly raising a large cloud of dust. "Sister!" The scarlet-eyed duck cried out in surprise. The moment the fireball pierced through the black snake's body, it realized that this was its sister's ultimate move. It was a method used to lure the fey beasts into a trap. Therefore, the battle in the cave that no one saw had already been decided. The final victor was its sister, and not the black snake that should have been cut into pieces. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, before the scarlet-eyed duck could celebrate, incomparably sharp icicles shot out from the cave, directly hitting the defenseless scarlet-eyed duck, causing blood to splatter all over its body. "Sister! Sister!" The scarlet-eyed duck, who was suddenly attacked, revealed a confused expression. Clearly, it did not understand why its sister would suddenly attack it. Their enemy, shouldn't it be? "Do you think I look like your sister?" Lin Yuan wriggled its body clumsily as it slowly walked out of the cave. Its dual-colored eyes flashed with incomparable ridicule, and its tone was extremely frivolous. "Black Snake. What did you do to my sister?" The scarlet-eyed duck was suddenly shocked. It controlled the flames around it to burn the wounds on its body. As its flesh was burned and contracted, the scarlet-eyed duck had completely stopped the bleeding. Its gaze towards Lin Yuan was extremely unfriendly, but it still asked about its sister's whereabouts. After all, from what it knew, a mere black snake could not possibly kill its sister. "I ate it, and it's still digesting." Lin Yuan shook his body, and his snake mouth opened to reveal a smile, like the whisper of a devil. "I'll kill you." The scarlet-eyed duck's eyes instantly became bloodshot as it stared fiercely at the smiling Lin Yuan. In an instant, a terrifying flame dragon condensed around its body. Even Men Du, who had been fighting with the scarlet-eyed duck before, couldn't help but secretly click his tongue, and then silently move away from the scarlet-eyed duck. The scarlet-eyed duck's furious state was undoubtedly more terrifying than its normal state. If the scarlet-eyed duck erupted with such a terrifying power just now, Men Du had no doubt that he would have been burned into a charred corpse by the scarlet-eyed duck before the black snake came out. The demon beasts in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range were so terrifying. Don't be so agitated. Although I ate your sister, it's not dead yet. Lin Yuan did not dodge. Looking at the flame dragon approaching him, he smiled and said, "You should know that there's still a weak breath of life in my body, so if you attack me, you're also attacking your sister. I can withstand it, but why don't you try and see if your sister can withstand it?" Despicable. Despicable. The scarlet-eyed duck and Men Du cursed at the same time. However, the scarlet-eyed duck cursed in front of his face, while Men Du cursed in his heart. No matter how unwilling the scarlet-eyed duck was, it still took a deep breath and cancelled its technique. The flame dragon that was about to hit Lin Yuan's face suddenly disappeared, as if it had never existed. Chapter 117. Tell me, what do you want? The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck stared coldly at Lin Yuan. Her voice was filled with fear. After all, her sister's life was in Lin Yuan's hands. Regardless of whether she angered Lin Yuan or attacked Lin Yuan, it was equivalent to killing her sister with her own hands. Therefore, no matter how unwilling she was, she could only grit her teeth and try to negotiate for her sister's release. The playful look in Lin Yuan's eyes slowly dissipated. It was a little out of his expectations for this pair of demonic beasts to be so affectionate. But Lin Yuan still didn't intend to let go of this pair of siblings. The siblings' territory was on the edge of the Stoneclaw jungle, and the last time Lin Yuan went to them for help, they demanded an exorbitant price. Even before that, they almost wanted to take the benefits and run away. There was no trust in them at all. This time, Lin Yuan was even more certain that once the siblings harvested these heaven and earth treasures and their strength improved, they would immediately run over to attack him. It was precisely because of this that Lin Yuan had to make the first move. Furthermore, even if the threat was disregarded, he would not give up on the attribute points and mission rewards. The reason why he and the scarlet-eyed mandarin duck was to delay the scarlet-eyed mandarin duck so that he could digest the mysterious ice duck. And now, it was almost time. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully killing the level 2 intelligence perception demonic beast, mysterious ice duck. The reward is 3 attribute points. The system broadcast sounded in his mind. At the same time, Scarlet Pupil Duck's eyes widened, looking at Lin Yuan in front of it. It could feel that there were 2 life auras where the black snake was, but now, there was only 1 life aura left. The black snake looked calm and unruffled. There was no need to listen to the black snake to confirm who the disappeared life aura belonged to. You want to die. This cripple also wants to die. Stoneclaw Forest, Scarlet Flame Swamp. From today onwards, it will turn into a purgatory that will never be extinguished. The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's body trembled slightly. Sparks appeared in the air around it. The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's bloodline has mutated due to its grief. It has turned into a purgatory crow. Please leave as soon as possible. The system's voice rang out in Lin Yuan's mind. Clearly, it was not a standard system broadcast, because this time, the system did not even mention the ding. The one who reminded Lin Yuan was the Russian doll, and the system itself did not give any warning. Burn. Burn. Let everything burn. The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's form gradually changed. Its originally crimson feathers were now a mixture of black and red. Wisps of black aura seeped out from its body, as if it was an existence that emitted an ominous aura. Its original appearance of a mandarin duck slowly turned into the form of a crow. Its body length doubled, becoming a colossal creature that was close to 300 meters long. When its crimson eyes landed on Lin Yuan, they emitted an endless killing intent. Whoosh! A loud noise was heard. The scarlet eye mandarin duck's body shook, and its black and red feathers instantly turned into fuel. The entire demonic beast directly turned into a huge firebird in front of Lin Yuan. Moreover, these flames were not of a normal color. They were all black and red, constantly swaying demonic flames. Boom! The purgatory crow flapped its wings and suddenly rose from the ground. A terrifying wind pressure descended, and even Meng Do, who was closer to it, was directly sent flying. He crashed through 6 or 7 large trees before he could stabilize his body. He raised his head and spat out a mouthful of blood, then directly fainted. Even Lin Yuan, who was slightly further away, did not have a good time under the wind pressure of the purgatory crow's wings. The layer of scales on the surface of the purgatory crow's body was swept by the wind pressure like a sharp blade, and large patches of black scales fell off. It looked as if someone had just skinned it, and its bloody appearance was extremely horrifying. Your luck is not bad. Looks like the scarlet eye mandarin duck's killing intent towards you is not that great. After enduring the first wave of wind pressure, you only need to run. Naturally, there will be demonic beasts or humans who will come to take care of it. The Russian doll's voice sounded again, and its tone sounded as if it was relieved. Do you know something? Lin Yuan looked suspiciously at the purgatory crow that was flying higher and higher. He secretly communicated with the system through his mind. The pain of being skinned might be a death sentence for others, but for a snake demon like Lin Yuan, it was already considered a basic operation. Basically, every time he fought, his scales would be torn off. Even if he did not have the habit of shedding his skin, he had already experienced this kind of pain more than once. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not care about his injuries at all. The purgatory crow is a type of demonic beast that lives on the border between the human world and purgatory. They do not have intelligence or fatigue, and only know how to fly endlessly. Through their flight, they shake off the purgatory fire on their wings, turning everything they fly past into a blazing purgatory of fire. Once the purgatory fire lands on the ground, even if it is on a rocky mountain or in a desert, it can be ignited without any source for 100 years. If the flesh and blood of living creatures are used as sacrifices, the fire will grow bigger and bigger, and the temperature will also increase. Humans have a love-hate relationship with the purgatory fire. After all, the alchemists and weapon refiners who have the means to gather the purgatory fire for their own use. The purgatory fire can easily dissolve metals and herbs that cannot be dissolved by ordinary fire. However, the existence of the purgatory fire itself is also continuously compressing the living space of humans. If the purgatory fire can burn for 100 years, it can give birth to its own consciousness and transform into a demonic beast with extraordinary strength. These demonic beasts come in all shapes and sizes, but like the purgatory crow, they do not have intelligence. They only know how to tear and devour everything that stands in their way, turning them into nourishment for their own growth. Therefore, the purgatory crow is also known as the demon sower, purgatory origin, and other such scourges. Once the purgatory crow appears in a place, both humans and demonic beasts must work together to kill it. Otherwise, the consequences are simply unimaginable. The scientific knowledge from the system kept flashing in Lin Yuan's mind. At this moment, Lin Yuan looked at the purgatory crow that had become a small black dot in the sky. Only then did he realize how big of a disaster he had provoked. If this guy flew around the Hengduan mountain range, the entire Hengduan mountain range would burn for 100 years. At that time, all the demonic beasts in the Hengduan mountain range would die. And after 100 years, countless demonic beasts that were transformed from the purgatory fire would walk out of the Hengduan mountain range and attack the human cities crazily. If there was no punishment, the existence of the purgatory crow was enough to usher in the end of the world. Lin Yuan did not have the idea of being a savior. However, he was living in this world after all. With his current strength, he could not even fly, let alone leave this world. If this world was destroyed, Lin Yuan would have to be buried with it. Ding! Detected the strong will of the host to save the world. Releasing the mission to save the world. Ding! Host strength is insufficient. Monitoring failed. Releasing the chain of mission is cancelled. Ding. This system warmly reminds you. Don't court death. If you court death, you will really die. Chapter 118. Lin Yuan wasn't sure if the system had a mission to save the world. He only knew that the electronic voice just now was definitely not the system's broadcast. Alright, I'll stop joking with you since you're so angry that your face has turned black. I've already said that you just have to leave this place quickly and save your own life. The purgatory crows are far from what you can handle at your level. You only managed to survive because the scarlet-eyed mandarin's hatred couldn't overcome the purgatory crow's instinct to plant the purgatory fire seed. Otherwise, you would have died just now. It wasn't easy for you to survive, and you still want to deal with the purgatory crows? Stop dreaming. Even if you're a cheater, you're still very weak right now. Whether it's in the hinterland of the human dynasty or the depths of the Hengduan mountain range, anyone who can easily crush you to death can smash a bunch of them with a brick. When the host is strong enough, even if you don't want to, you have to shoulder some responsibilities or do some things that you don't want to do. When the host is not strong enough, even if you're a cheater, I can only advise you not to court death. Whether it's in the host's previous world or this world, we're facing the threat of destruction all the time. If you're strong enough, someone will naturally take action. If you're not strong enough, everyone can only wait for death. The Russian doll was still trying to persuade Lin Yuan with a hint of helplessness in its tone. Of course, it didn't expect a bastard who was smiling on the surface but cursing on the inside to have the heart of a saint who would save the world. This guy was just worried that the purgatory crows would bring a devastating blow to the environment he was currently living in. That was why he was thinking about how to deal with the purgatory crows. If the purgatory crows appeared somewhere else, Lin Yuan probably wouldn't even care about them and would just sleep until the sun rose. Lin Yuan thought about it carefully, then nodded fiercely. He swung his snake body and rushed into the woods where Men Do crashed into. The thick snake tail wrapped around the unconscious Men Do, and his figure flickered a few times. He rushed out in the opposite direction of the purgatory crow. He felt that the system was inexplicably talkative after seeing the purgatory crows, as if it was hinting at something. However, due to his current lack of strength, the system's only suggestion was to escape. Lin Yuan thought so, and naturally, he did so. Whoosh! Whoosh! Black and red flames continued to fall from the sky, either smashing into the forest or smashing into the mountain rocks, instantly setting off a forest fire that kept on spreading. Even if a few balls of purgatory flames occasionally fell into the lake, they would instantly evaporate the lake and continue to burn fiercely. This swamp that used to be ruled by the Crimson Flame Crocodile King was mostly destroyed by the purgatory fire before the new Beast King could take over. Demonic beasts screamed miserably as they shuttled through the forest. In the face of a destructive disaster, there seemed to be no difference between the intelligent demonic beasts and the awakened demonic beasts. They could only roar and flee blindly. Occasionally, there would be some overconfident fire or water demonic beasts that tried to fight against the purgatory fire with their innate ability. Unfortunately, all the demonic beasts that Lin Yuan saw were instantly incinerated into ashes once they faced the purgatory fire. A ball of purgatory fire fell from the sky and smashed directly at Lin Yuan, who was moving at high speed. However, the falling speed of the purgatory fire was too fast, and the area it covered was extremely terrifying. Lin Yuan simulated it 3 times in his mind, but he still couldn't plan a safe escape route. With his current speed, no matter how he escaped, he would be enveloped by the purgatory fire. Clenching his teeth, Lin Yuan's figure flickered again and appeared next to a herd of retreating demonic beasts. He used his mouth to easily bite the body of a demonic beast and threw it into the sky with all his might. Success was very gratifying. The purgatory fire seemed to have a life of its own. When it came into contact with the demonic beast, it actually split out flame tentacles and entangled the demonic beast that was constantly screaming miserably. Then, it pulled the demonic beast into its body. The falling speed was still not slow, but it had slowed down a little. It seemed to be digesting the demonic beast. Lin Yuan was delighted. He twisted his snake body and followed behind the migrating demonic beasts. From time to time, he would bite one of them and throw it into the sky. Following Lin Yuan's movements, the purgatory fire's body became bigger and bigger, but its falling speed became slower and slower. This scene immediately attracted the attention of many intelligent demonic beasts that realized that they couldn't escape from the purgatory fire. Soon, they began to follow suit and began to attack the weaker demonic beasts around them. They continuously sacrificed the demonic beasts to the purgatory fire that fell like raindrops, using the flesh and blood of these demonic beasts to buy time for themselves to escape. Finally, after Lin Yuan threw a snake-type demonic beast into the purgatory fire, he had already completely left the range of the purgatory fire. Only then did he heave a heavy sigh of relief. According to the strength of the demonic beasts, the speed of the purgatory fire's digestion was obviously different. Therefore, when Lin Yuan had completely left the range of the purgatory fire, Lin Yuan had practically thrown all the demonic beasts around him into the purgatory fire in exchange for his hope of survival. Looking up at the sky that was constantly raining flames, Lin Yuan's state of mind finally relaxed a little. According to the purgatory fire that was constantly falling, although this purgatory crow was constantly flying, it didn't have any intention of approaching the Stoneclaw forest. Instead, it was flying towards the territory of another demonic beast king. The corner of Lin Yuan's mouth twitched, revealing a trace of a forced smile. After all, he could be considered to have dodged a calamity. Otherwise, this purgatory crow would have directly wiped out the Stoneclaw forest and the Scarlet Flame swamp. In the future, he might not even have a place to stay. Evil creature, how dare you! Suddenly, a violent roar came from afar. Lin Yuan was subconsciously startled. He turned his gaze towards the direction of the voice and actually felt some instinctive reverence. It was as if the owner of this voice was incomparably valiant and wasn't an existence he could contend against at all. In the next moment, a bright starlight tore through the sky. Countless starlight gathered together to form an incomparably sharp arrow, ruthlessly shooting towards the purgatory crow that was only a small black dot left in the sky. Lin Yuan spat out his snake tongue and looked at the starlight that tore through the sky with burning eyes. A look of yearning appeared in his eyes. That was the power that he yearned for even in his dreams. Caw. Although the two were separated by countless meters, Lin Yuan could still clearly hear the loud and clear cry of the purgatory crow when it flapped its wings. Chapter 119. The starlight arrow that was approaching the purgatory crow slowly turned black and red in the midst of the purgatory crow's cries. It began to burn and then turned into a large amount of purgatory fire that fell, directly enveloping a large area. The monsters that couldn't escape in time were instantly burned to ashes by the purgatory fire. Lin Yuan felt a slight bitterness in his mouth. From the introduction of the system, he could guess that the purgatory crow was not an easy creature to deal with. Even the monsters at the Mountain Lord level might not be able to gain an advantage over the purgatory crow. However, he never expected that the powerful existence that took the lead to condense the starlight arrow to burn before it even got close to the purgatory crow. Whoosh! Another ball of purgatory fire fell. This time, it didn't fall at random, but with a target. The existence that took the lead to attack the purgatory crow was regarded as a thorn in its side. At this moment, the purgatory crow actually defeated its own self and didn't continue to sow purgatory fire in the Hengduan Mountains. Instead, it chose to kill the existence that posed a threat to itself first. As the starlight arrow burned, endless spells continued to sweep out from the Hengduan Mountains, ruthlessly smashing into the ball of purgatory fire. However, these attacks were simply ridiculously weak to the purgatory fire. Almost all of them were devoured by the purgatory fire. Moreover, the purgatory fire was constantly increasing in size. However, the monsters that were attacking didn't seem to see this scene and continued to release spells at a certain frequency. Finally, the purgatory fire expanded to a limit. Before a large ball of purgatory fire could land on the ground, it directly exploded in the air. A huge three-headed dog let out a series of mournful howls and kept waving its four limbs. However, in the face of gravity, it was still as weak as a newborn baby. In the end, it actually died from falling from a high altitude. What the hell is this? Lin Yuan looked in the direction of the Cerberus, who had been smashed into meat paste, and asked with resentment in his eyes. Although Lin Yuan didn't come into close contact with the three-headed dog, the moment it was born, he still smelled an incomparably foul smell. Even though he was thousands of meters away, Lin Yuan almost fainted directly from the smell. Cerberus, 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 that was probably what the host had called this monster in his previous life. However, compared to the legendary Cerberus that guarded the gates of hell in the host's previous life, this Cerberus was much weaker. At best, it could only be said that its appearance was similar. Whether it was in terms of size or ability, the difference was too great. This kind of demonic beast is usually born in the purgatory flame. Among all the demonic beasts born in the purgatory flame, it can be considered as one of the stronger ones. It's just that this kind of demonic beast doesn't have the ability to fly, so it will fall to its death directly. If a demonic beast that can fly is born, then there will be a good show to watch. The system's voice sounded in a timely manner. In the end, it even added a sentence full of mischief. The joint attack of those demonic beasts just now was to let the flames of purgatory devour their own power, so that the flames of purgatory would mature in advance, and then give birth to demonic beasts of purgatory that would take hundreds of years to be born. Compared to the flames of purgatory that can be devoured together, these demonic beasts of purgatory are much easier to deal with, so this can be considered a last resort. Lin Yuan did not overestimate himself by asking the system about the difference between him and the Cerberus. After all, the Mountain Lord level demonic beasts had to join forces to deal with an existence that could easily crush him, right? The demonic beast race did not have any weapon refiners or alchemists, so they loathed the flames of purgatory to the extreme. They would constantly pour their own power into the flames of purgatory to devour, and then deal with the demonic beasts born from the flames of purgatory. The way these Mountain Lord level demonic beasts dealt with the purgatory crows was so practiced that it made one's heart ache. Only the heavens knew how many bloody lessons they had learned in exchange for this method. Boom! Lin Yuan suddenly felt an incomparably terrifying gust of wind in front of him, and only then did he retract his gaze from the battle between the Mountain Lord level demonic beasts and the purgatory crows in the sky. He did not know when, but a blood-red ape had appeared in front of him. Its entire body was covered in black and red skin, and there was not a single strand of hair on it. Its entire body was covered in dense burn wounds, and it seemed to be a demonic beast that had luckily survived the flames of purgatory. However, Lin Yuan's snake tongue flickered as he stared at the strange ape with an unfriendly gaze. This strange ape also had that nauseating stench on its body. Although it was much fainter than the Cerberus that had almost knocked Lin Yuan over from several thousand meters away, Lin Yuan could not pretend that he did not smell the strange odor on its body at such a close distance. It was another demonic beast born from the flames of purgatory. However, this fellow did not seem to be ridiculously strong. It should be because the flames of purgatory were not burning brightly, and it was in a hurry to evolve into a demonic beast, so it produced such a half-finished product in front of Lin Yuan. As his thoughts raced, the strange ape's fist was almost right in front of Lin Yuan's face, and Lin Yuan only managed to dodge at this time. However, it was very obvious that Lin Yuan's late movement was already unable to dodge this attack. A faint golden light flickered all over his body, and when the fist was almost touching the surface of his scales, Lin Yuan successfully activated the second stage of the golden body technique, and a part of his body instantly turned a faint golden color. Clang! The fist of flesh and blood landed on Lin Yuan's body, but the sound of metal colliding rang out. The strange ape was pushed back several steps by the force of the impact, and only then did it open its mouth and let out an unclear roar at Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, was pushed back a full 30 meters by the strange ape's fist. A large part of the scales that had been hit by the strange ape's fist had already caved in. Although it was far from being able to break through the golden body technique, Lin Yuan's heart still palpitated. If he had been careless and did not activate the golden body technique, or if the strange ape had not attacked the area covered by the golden body technique, its fist would have been enough to directly penetrate Lin Yuan's snake body. The snake body fell to the ground and slid back 4 or 5 meters. Only when it knew that Lin Yuan had wrapped around 2 towering trees did it stop its continuous retreat and stabilize its body again. Looking deeply at the strange ape with his heterochromatic eyes, Lin Yuan tightened his grip on Mendu, which was wrapped around the snake's tail. Then, without looking back, he turned around and rushed in the direction of the Stoneclaw forest. This damn thing was definitely not to be defeated. Strange ape? The strange ape looked at its fist, then looked in the direction that Lin Yuan had fled, and let out an unwilling roar. Chapter 120. After running for nearly 5 kilometers, Lin Yuan's sense of smell showed that the weird ape was still less than 300 meters behind him. It stared at Lin Yuan, who was running away in front of it. The greed in its eyes was so strong that it could not be dispelled. Are you crazy? Lin Yuan scolded without looking back. Wasn't it said that this kind of monster born from the hellfire had no brains and only knew how to tear and devour all the life in front of it to become its own nourishment? Why was this weird ape sticking to him like a dog skin plaster? He couldn't get rid of it. Because the host has now surpassed the ordinary snake species. Although you have not completed the transformation into a flood dragon, the blood in your body already belongs to the water flood dragon lineage. If you want to find an existence nobler than the host's bloodline, perhaps you can only pick out a few from the current dragon clan. Although the inferno monster only knows how to devour other life forms, they also know what kind of prey they can't let go and what kind of prey they can temporarily give up. The system's despicable voice sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. Although he couldn't see the system's body, Lin Yuan always felt that this guy was gloating. The system suggests that the host go back and hunt this abyss monster. Otherwise, the tireless abyss monster will catch up with the host sooner or later. At that time, the host may not even have the ability to resist. The system's voice sounded again. This time, it looked directly at him, but it was much more serious. Lin Yuan took the initiative to stop and turned his head to look in the direction of the Purgatory Crow. It was still fighting with many powerful demonic beasts in the Hengduan Mountains. Although the Purgatory Crow was very powerful and had the Purgatory Fire that could devour everything, its attack method was very simple. It would only constantly throw out the Purgatory Fire to attack, which obviously had no effect on the powerful demonic beasts in the Hengduan Mountains. Therefore, both sides were currently very anxious. In a short time, the Purgatory Crow would not be able to turn the other areas of the Hengduan Mountains into purgatory. With a thought, Dojo, who was rolled up in the tail, was directly thrown in the direction of the Stoneclaw jungle by Lin Yuan. He himself suddenly turned around and hit the weird ape with his tail. The pitch-black snake's body was like an indestructible steel whip, heavily hitting the strange ape's body. For a moment, the latter did not react to why the constantly fleeing prey suddenly turned around to attack. It did not have time to defend itself and was whipped in the chest by Lin Yuan. 40 points of attack power, 1 point of true damage and 3 points of shockwave damage. The strange ape's chest caved in and it staggered back 3 steps. The pair of bloodshot eyes that were originally filled with ruthlessness spun around as it let out an earth-shattering roar. What the hell? Lin Yuan's eyes widened as he stared in disbelief at the strange ape that had only taken a few steps back. If the same injury was placed on an ordinary demonic beast, even if it did not die at this moment, it would have lost the ability to fight. Ding! Detected that the host is hostile to the Purgatory Demon Beasts, activating the special mission, Shatter the Purgatory Core. Name, Shatter the Purgatory Core. Speed, the Purgatory Demon Beasts do not have intelligence and do not know exhaustion. They will constantly hunt down all life forms in their sight, then devour their flesh and blood, turning them into their own nourishment. For pseudo-life forms like the Purgatory Demon Beasts, physical and mental injuries are not enough to kill them. In order to kill the Purgatory Demon Beasts, the host must find the Purgatory Core that provides the Purgatory Demon Beasts with kinetic energy, then shatter it. Mission Reward, Skill Draw Chance X1 Punishment for Failure, Death Note, different types of Purgatory Demon Beasts have different Purgatory Cores. It could be in the brain, the heart, or even the spine. Host, please search for it yourself. The system notification that popped up in Lin Yuan's mind was then automatically closed by Lin Yuan. This mission should have been issued by the system's assistant itself. It was worried that Lin Yuan would lose confidence because he could not directly kill the Purgatory Demon Beast, so it took the initiative to give the Purgatory Demon Beast's weakness. However, it could not be too clear, so it let Lin Yuan search for it himself. Brain, heart, spine. Lin Yuan lowered his head to dodge the strange ape's fist, his eyes flashing. These places were the common vital points of all life forms, but the Purgatory Demon Beasts had an obvious advantage. For example, if a human's brain received a certain degree of blunt damage, there was a possibility of brain death or a concussion, or even a sudden death. However, the Purgatory Demon Beast's core was hidden in this area. Even if Lin Yuan used his tail attack to crush these parts, if there was no way to shatter the Purgatory Demon Beast's core, this Purgatory Demon Beast would still not die. Once again turning his body to dodge the strange ape's fist, Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes suddenly flashed with an azure light. A thick water column suddenly broke through the ground, fiercely hitting the strange ape's chest, once again pushing it back a few steps. Bright red blood flowed down the front part of the water column that instantly turned into icicles. It's not the heart. Lin Yuan glanced to the side and made his first judgment. With its heart pierced, this strange ape was still roaring, indicating that it wasn't a fatal injury. However, it was obviously not realistic to use the same trick again. After all, ever since Lin Yuan became a wisdom demon beast, although using innate attacks didn't consume demonic energy like other demon beasts, these skills had already begun to have a cooldown. The kind of seamless innate attacks from before could only be considered an extravagant hope for Lin Yuan. Roar! The strange ape roared once again, its left arm lowered, directly smashing the icicle that pierced its heart. That pair of blood-red eyes once again fell on Lin Yuan's body, roaring and pouncing over. At the same time, the gray scale on Lin Yuan's forehead flickered, and a gray light shot out. The strange ape in midair didn't have time to dodge, and this kind of brainless guy probably couldn't dodge. The entire strange ape directly turned into a heavy stone statue under Lin Yuan's eyes of petrification. It suddenly smashed onto the ground, instantly creating a deep pit. Dirt and grass flew everywhere. He didn't know how long the eyes of petrification could control the strange ape. Seeing his demonic energy drop from 100 to 40, Lin Yuan was sure that he wouldn't be able to use the eyes of petrification again in a short period of time. With the thought that time waits for no one, Lin Yuan let out a long hiss, and the tail strike that was off cooldown was launched once again. This time, the target was the head of the ape after being petrified. Boom! Gravel splashed everywhere. Under the influence of the shock, the dirt and grass that hadn't fallen to the ground yet were once again thrown into the air. Chapter 121. The system's kill notification did not sound. 5 seconds later. The stone-gray color of the petrified strange ape slowly receded. It once again returned to its strange charred state. Even though it had lost half of its head, it still firmly locked onto Lin Yuan, who was not far away. Lin Yuan felt that a curse was about to come out of his mouth, and he had to spit it out. Its heart was directly pierced through, and half of its head was smashed by its tail. This damn thing was actually still alive. Was the system assistant, this dog thing, lying to him? Flames rose up. After suffering 3 consecutive losses under Lin Yuan's hands, even the strange ape that did not have much intelligence was obviously enraged at this moment. A layer of black and red flames slowly rose above its fists. That was the purgatory fire that could even swallow the attacks of demon beasts. Whoosh! The wind from the fist carried the flames. The strange ape's fist swung out a 3-meter-long pillar of fire. Lin Yuan sucked in a breath of cold air and suddenly rushed to the side, narrowly avoiding the pillar of fire. Ding! The purgatory fire's attack has been detected. The area swallowed by the purgatory fire is automatically removed. Host second rank golden body technique proficiency -2. The system's notification sounded like an emotionless killer. Motherf asterisk Ker. After Lin Yuan stabilized his body, he opened his mouth and cursed angrily. The strange ape's fist did not do much to him, but it indirectly made him lose 11 attribute points. The cooldown of the water monarch was already over, but the invisible ice was still in cooldown. Lin Yuan did not think that he could summon another water pillar to hurt the strange ape, nor did he think that his water could extinguish the purgatory fire. After all, the first batch of demon beasts that were swallowed by the purgatory fire were most likely water-type demon beasts that thought that they could extinguish the fire. The only vital points on the strange ape's body were its abdomen and spine. If the purgatory core was not in these two vital points, then if Lin Yuan wanted to kill this strange ape, he would have to directly crush it. Ridiculous. How could such a ridiculous thing exist in this world? Looking at the demonic power that was almost motionless on the attribute panel and the 30 seconds of invisible ice cooldown remaining, Lin Yuan once again made a heartfelt decision after glancing at the strange ape that was getting more and more valiant as it fought. Run. Anyway, this thing's speed was not as fast as his. At most, he would return to the starting point and run again. After his skill cooldown was over or his demonic power was restored, he would test the other two vital points of the strange ape. Whoosh! Lin Yuan's figure just moved, and with him as the center, a circle of purgatory fire suddenly rose around him. Although this kind of purgatory fire was released at a different time from the purgatory crow, as time passed, this circle of fire continued to weaken. It seemed that this circle of fire would be extinguished directly in half an hour. But that was the problem. This ring of fire not only confined Lin Yuan, but also sharply reduced his combat range. At this time, he didn't dare to move too much, because he might lose a little bit of Golden Body Secret's proficiency if he moved slightly. If the strange ape penetrated the circle of fire and punched him at this time, he was afraid that the Golden Body Secrets would be wasted. Those parts that were not tempered by the Golden Body Secrets might directly necrotize. For Lin Yuan's current body shape and the parts tempered by the Golden Body Secrets, Lin Yuan felt that if those areas necrotized, it would be tantamount to announcing his death sentence. Dog system, King lied to me. Lin Yuan's eyes turned cold. He suddenly thought of a problem that he had neglected before. The existence of the purgatory beasts was undoubtedly an existence that the Hengduan mountain range's demonic beasts could not tolerate. If he kept running away, after they dealt with the purgatory crows, these purgatory beasts that were born from the purgatory flame would be the next clear target. And the strange ape, with its obvious appearance, would definitely be the first to die. This assistant only gave the host a suggestion. How can the matter between the two of us be called a lie? The system assistant's despicable voice sounded again. Lin Yuan was really convinced. This system assistant did not have a lowly's voice or a mature sister's voice, but it could make the system's cold electronic synthesized voice into various tones, such as ridicule, and despicable. In the next system update, I will definitely replace you. Lin Yuan fiercely cursed. The system assistant was silent for a moment, as if it had really considered this point. It did not continue to ridicule Lin Yuan. Instead, it gave a serious suggestion. The host can use the water monarch to create a water eruption under yourself and directly send the host flying out, right? Why do you have to be like a... This suggestion was a good one. However, Lin Yuan had already guessed the system assistant's unfinished sentence from the system assistant's abrupt stop. Why do you have to be like an idiot and wait here for the fire to extinguish? A ripple appeared in the fire circle, and the strange ape that had lost half of its head broke through the fire circle and appeared in Lin Yuan's line of sight. Just as Lin Yuan had expected, after he summoned the fire circle, the purgatory fire that covered the strange ape's fists had already extinguished. Therefore, if such a fist landed on Lin Yuan's body, Lin Yuan would be able to withstand it. Considering the fire circle around him, Lin Yuan resisted the idea of switching places with the strange ape. He shook his black snake tail at the strange ape and sneered, "Bye-bye." As soon as his voice fell, the ground under Lin Yuan's body was once again washed away by the water column. The terrifying impact smashed onto Lin Yuan's body and immediately sent Lin Yuan flying. In a C shape, Lin Yuan crossed the fire circle safely. The strange ape that was half a beat slower punched on the rising water column, causing a large splash of water to splash on the fire circle. Looking at the water that was instantly swallowed up, the strange ape lowered its head and looked at its empty fist. It was stunned on the spot for a full 3 seconds before it suddenly let out a roar. Is this thing a snake or a loach? Why is it so damn slippery? I can't catch it at all. Driven by rage, the strange ape gritted its teeth and once again tore through the fire circle and chased in the direction of Lin Yuan. However, what awaited it was a snake body that happened to fall from mid-air and adjusted its posture by the tail attack skill. Boom! The strange ape was directly smashed by Lin Yuan, and its body suddenly sank. The terrifying shock force spread in its body. In just 2 breaths, the spine of the strange ape was crushed by Lin Yuan. Without the support of the spine, even the immortal strange ape finally lost its combat power. Although it was still roaring crazily under Lin Yuan's body, it could no longer attack Lin Yuan. Chapter 122. Squinting his eyes slightly, Lin Yuan slowly moved down from the strange ape's body. The system's kill notification still didn't sound. After 2 consecutive times, Lin Yuan's heart didn't waver at all when he guessed wrong for the 3rd time. The damn system gave him 3 options. Normal people would think that the answer would be one of the 3 options. However, Lin Yuan, who had personally experienced the shamelessness of the system, had already guessed before the 3rd attack that the 3 options given to him by this damn thing were all wrong. Using his snake tail to flip the strange ape over, he then used the tip of his tail to feel around the strange ape's abdomen. Lin Yuan quickly discovered that there was an inconspicuous protrusion on the strange ape's side. It was as if the stomach had swelled up slightly after eating food. However, it was clear that this strange ape that had its eyes on Lin Yuan hadn't eaten before. Therefore, the protrusion on its abdomen was clearly the purgatory core. Lin Yuan was a snake that did what it said. Therefore, after finding the location of the purgatory core, he directly pierced the tip of his tail into the strange ape's abdomen. After wrapping around a prismatic object, Lin Yuan suddenly pulled the prismatic object out of the strange ape's body. Ding! Congratulations to host. You have killed an intelligence level 1 demonic beast, Purgatory Demonic Ape. Received 3 attribute points. Reward, 10 attribute points. Received material, Demonic Blood Ape Arm X2. The system's kill notification also sounded after the prismatic object was pulled out. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and resisted the urge to curse the system's assistant. His gaze fell on the prismatic object. After all, according to the game's classification in his previous life, the purgatory core should be classified as a tool. Now that he had obtained the purgatory core, perhaps it would be the same as the Eye of Petrification. The system would also give an introduction. Item, Purgatory Core Type, Tool Grade, C+ Effect, demonize living beings that consume the purgatory core, turning normal living beings into purgatory creatures. Note, all purgatory creatures have no intelligence. Even if the host turns his most loyal subordinates into a purgatory creature, they will not be loyal to him. They will only treat the host as food. Please use them with caution. Note 2, there are no trash items, only trash hosts. Although the purgatory core cannot allow the host to gain the loyalty of some purgatory creatures, if this item is used properly, it can still be of great use. Note 3, although the purgatory creatures created by the host with the purgatory core are the same as ordinary purgatory creatures, once the purgatory core in their bodies is taken out, it will immediately collapse. There is no possibility of reuse. Yes, this is very systematic. There were no trashy items, only trashy hosts. Lin Yuan indicated that this sentence was no longer a hint. It was clearly scolding him. Because he really couldn't think of any use for this thing. After all, he had the Water Jiao bloodline. Once an Inferno demon beast appeared in front of him, he would definitely be the first target of the Inferno demon beast. Therefore, this thing was to create an incomparably troublesome enemy for him. He couldn't possibly eat it and then become an almost immortal monster without intelligence to fight the enemy to the death, right? There's AF * King Cat Biscuit. Lin Yuan once again lowered his head to look at the purgatory core. His face suddenly revealed a hint of understanding. He suddenly felt that the system's scolding was right. This item really wasn't trash at all. The Inferno demon beasts were indeed difficult to deal with, but the system previously said that all Inferno demon beasts had a purgatory core. It was just that the location of the purgatory core would be adjusted according to different species. If he could know the weaknesses of all Inferno demon beasts, then he could create Inferno demon beasts at any time to gain attribute points for himself. A level 1 intelligence realm Inferno demon beast could provide him with 3 attribute points, and then the system would reward him with 10 attribute points. Rounding it up to 100 million, friend. A level 1 intelligence realm Inferno demon beast gave him 13 attribute points. If he killed an ordinary demon beast, then it would be equivalent to killing a level 5 or even level 6 demon beast. The two benefits might be the same, but the difficulty was completely different. Moreover, even if he didn't use it to gain attribute points, as long as he could trick a group of obedient demon beasts into entering his enemy's territory to consume the purgatory core, he could instantly turn the enemy's territory into a purgatory. Looking at the mission to shatter the purgatory core, Lin Yuan fell silent. This was the first time he could casually complete a mission, but he didn't have any intention of submitting it. Black Snake, come and give me a hand. Mendu's voice slowly sounded. Only then did Lin Yuan remember that Mendu, who was thrown away by him, seemed to be lying in the forest a few hundred meters away. Mendu fainted on the spot because it couldn't withstand the wind pressure from the purgatory crow's ascent. It should have suffered some serious injuries. Otherwise, for a warlike demon beast like Mendu, normal pain obviously wouldn't be able to break its will. However, Lin Yuan didn't expect that Mendu didn't even have the ability to stand up. Twisting his snake body, he lifted Mendu from a tree that was pressed down and placed him on his back. Lin Yuan once again lowered his body and slithered towards the Stoneclaw forest area. He really didn't dare to swagger around anymore. If he happened to give birth to another group of powerful Inferno demon beasts, his current body wouldn't be enough to fight against them. Mendu, who was lying on Lin Yuan's back, looked meaningfully at Lin Yuan. He felt that he couldn't understand this black snake's thoughts anymore. It used the Scarlet Jade Dew and the Flaming Red Crocodile King's storage to trick the siblings into helping it deal with the Flaming Red Crocodile King. After that, when the siblings were separated, it ruthlessly killed the Profound Ice Duck and didn't even plan to let the Scarlet Pupil Duck go. Such an existence was shameless even among the demon beasts that would do anything to survive. However, the black snake's attitude towards him was completely different. The last thing it remembered was the Scarlet Pupil Duck turning into an extremely powerful demon beast and rising into the sky. It originally thought that it was going to die, but when it woke up, it found that it had already escaped far away. A few hundred meters away, the black snake was fighting with a scorched ape that had lost half its head. This extremely shameless black snake actually didn't give up on him when he was unconscious. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have obtained 100 favorability points with Mendu because the host has already conquered the Stoneclaw Forest. Mendu is automatically under the host's command. When the system notification rang out, Lin Yuan was dumbfounded. What did this monkey think of? Why did it have a guide for him to conquer himself? Other than the beta that was bound to his ship by the system's mission contract, Lin Yuan gained another demon beast subordinate with full loyalty points. However, Lin Yuan couldn't understand why Mendu would suddenly submit to him. Could it be that he was too handsome? Chapter 123. The Purgatory Crows were far more troublesome than Lin Yuan had imagined. The dominators of the Hengduan mountain range might not have taken action, but the monsters that participated in the battle were basically at least in the Mountain Lord realm. Even so, the Purgatory Crows still hovered over a small half of the Red Flame Swamp and the territory of another unlucky Beast King for 3 days and 3 nights before letting out a wail and plunging into a certain area of the Hengduan mountain range. The price of killing the purgatory crows was very heavy. A small half of the red flame swamp was almost directly turned into a sea of purgatory fire, and the territory of the other Beast King was unknown for the time being. After all, Lin Yuan could not pass through the sea of purgatory fire that could devour everything to investigate the situation. However, Lin Yuan could see the situation where the purgatory crows fell clearly. The sky was filled with flames. The temperature was scorching. After the purgatory crows fell, that area directly became a veritable volcano. It continued to burn regardless of day or night. Even during the day, as long as Lin Yuan glanced in that direction, he could see the flames that were so hot that they could directly distort space. Even though they were countless miles apart, Lin Yuan could still feel the scorching heat. No wonder the system said that once such a monster appeared, humans and monsters would immediately put aside their prejudices and join forces to fight against the enemy. If such a monster was allowed to act recklessly, the living space of all life would be infinitely suppressed, and all life would eventually walk towards extinction. Survival was something that all life was working hard for. In front of it, all gratitude and hatred were distracting thoughts that could be thrown to the back of one's mind at any time. Step. Step. A series of light footsteps came, awakening Lin Yuan, who was lost in thought while looking at the volcano in the distance. Immediately, Lin Yuan slowly turned his head and his eyes fell on the person who came. A complicated expression flashed across his heterochromatic eyes. I've heard about the matter of the Yuanyang siblings. You did a bad job in this matter. You directly killed the Yuanyang siblings without any reason. Even if I have the intention to introduce other allies that can help you gain a foothold in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range, I'm afraid that they will have to consider whether they will be eaten up by you. The newcomer raised his eyes, a pair of mysterious purple pupils slightly condensed, but his voice was abnormally calm. I have my reasons for what happened to the siblings, but I admit that this matter was indeed lacking in consideration. However, your warning to me is very weak. Think about it. In this jungle where the strong preys on the weak, as long as I can bring enough benefits, let alone the risk of being devoured by me, they won't hesitate even if I ask them to call me Dad. Lin Yuan lazily turned his body over, exposing his belly to the sun. He leisurely said, Kid, the world of demon beasts may not be much more dangerous than that of humans, but the schemes of humans will never be as direct as the jungle. If you want to bring the human politics into the forest, I can guarantee that you will return in defeat. The owner of the purple pupils was a human being. After Lin Yuan became the Beast King of the Stoneclaw Forest, he was the only human who had the courage to step into the demon beast forest where Lin Yuan lived. As for his identity, he did not tell Lin Yuan, but Lin Yuan could more or less guess. Even if the person behind him was not a royal noble, he should be a powerful noble with a territory and a private army. The battle between Lin Yuan and the Iron Hand Society had almost broken the backbone of the new city lord of Mountain Blocking City. According to the description of the purple-eyed youth, the city lord's situation was quite bad. He would probably be transferred to another place soon, and soon, he would take over Mountain Blocking City. It seemed that after suffering 2 losses in a row, the city lord of Mountain Blocking City, who had yet to officially take over, had an extremely good attitude towards Lin Yuan. He even took the initiative to introduce some demon beasts that were related to the forces behind him. For example, the pair of siblings from before were one of the beast veins of the purple-eyed youth. Lin Yuan was 30% regretful and 70% indifferent about the matter regarding the siblings. He regretted his actions this time. His image had already been fixed in the eyes of most of the demonic beasts. If it wasn't necessary, those demonic beasts whose intelligence was not inferior to humans would definitely not cooperate with him again. However, this was also the reason why Lin Yuan was indifferent. Originally, he had no intention of becoming enemies with the siblings. Even if he wanted to collect debts, Lin Yuan was more inclined to wait until the territories of both sides were bordering each other in the future. He would gradually create friction before making his move. For example, with the Flaming Red Crocodile King. Lin Yuan and the Flaming Red Crocodile King had basically never met before. However, because the Flaming Red Crocodile King coveted the territory of the Stoneclaw Forest, there was friction between them. Thus, Lin Yuan had a legitimate reason to deal with the flaming red crocodile king. However, as luck would have it, an ice heart fruit had ripened beside the profound ice duck, and the system had even issued a mission. Thus, Lin Yuan had no choice but to do that. Demon beasts, could it be that they had the extravagant hope of being loved by everyone? The opportunity to become stronger was right in front of them. Only a fool would miss it. Could it be that when the other beast kings came to snatch the territory of the Stoneclaw Forest, they would deliberately let Lin Yuan off just because he was usually nice to snakes? What a joke. When they were working together to deal with the red flame crocodile king, the profound ice duck's gaze fell on him a few times. It was obvious that she wanted to fatten Lin Yuan up before eating him. Her killing intent was much stronger than Lin Yuan's, who wanted to collect debts in the future. If allies were like this, what more an unfamiliar demon beast? Lin Yuan's actions were actually one of the unspoken rules of the forest. It was just that 90% of the demon beasts didn't do it as openly as Lin Yuan. But the problem is... The purple-eyed youth's voice rose slightly. Right now, your reputation is very bad. For a short period of time, no demon beast will be willing to cooperate with you. So, you have to be honest for a while. During this time, I won't give you any more benefits. However, I hope that the agreement between us will still be valid. Lin Yuan didn't immediately reply. Instead, he thought for a moment. Lin Yuan turned the snake around again and glanced at the figure covered in a black cloak. Only a small part of his face and a pair of purple eyes could be seen. He grinned and said, "Of course. The demon slayer of Mountain Blocking City can enter the demon beast forest to hunt at will. As long as they don't come close to my nest, I guarantee that they won't have any trouble." The word trouble was heavily emphasized by Lin Yuan. The threat was self-evident. The purple-eyed youth was slightly startled. He said in astonishment, "Our agreement, but I haven't set foot in the deeper regions of the Hengduan mountain range, right?" Lin Yuan raised the snake's tail and sneered. "You can hunt outside my sphere of influence. However, if you enter the Stoneclaw Forest now, you will only shake my rule. Do you understand?" Chapter 124. Half an hour later. The purple-eyed youth slowly walked out of Lin Yuan's lair. The calm water surface didn't cause any trouble for the purple-eyed youth. He slowly walked across the surface of the lake as if he was walking on flat ground. He paused for a moment and turned back to look at the huge rock above the waterfall. He was so angry that his entire body was trembling. It was clearly this black snake that messed up the matter, but it actually had to take the blame for it. As an influential official of one of the 7 great dynasties, he could have been like the city lord who hadn't been transferred yet and forcefully sent his subordinates to kill the demonic beasts. However, he didn't choose to do so because he knew very well that the reproductive ability of demonic beasts was not something that humans could compare with. This was especially true for low-level demonic beasts. They would have a large nest for their entire lives and would grow into a fighting force in less than half a year. Humans could only give birth to 1 or 2 at most, and would need to nurture them for at least 10 years before they could become a fighting force. Moreover, in a one-on-one battle, without any special methods, they might not be a match for demonic beasts of the same realm. Killing demonic beasts was fine, but killing demonic beasts mindlessly would only drag one's own downfall. Since he saw this point clearly, Jun Shang naturally saw this point as well. Therefore, although the deal with Lin Yuan seemed simple, he had to endure countless pressures and slowly implement it with the tacit consent of the forces behind him. If he could let the demon-subduing master of Zhanshan City enter the Hengduan mountain range to hunt again, he wouldn't need to work in this place for too long before he would be transferred to a better place. However, if he only took back the hunting rights in the demonic beast forest, it would be useless. He still had to stay here and carry out his plan until he obtained the hunting rights in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range. Damn, disgusting, greedy, stupid, demonic beasts. The purple-eyed young man cursed fiercely, and then he left without looking back. However, he didn't see that after he left the 500-meter radius of Lin Yuan's lair, the black snake that was lazily basking in the sun quietly poked out its huge snake head. Its heterochromatic eyes were fixed in the direction he left, and the corners of its mouth opened again, revealing a cold smile. He had not been idle for the past few days. He had been pondering over the power structure of this alternate world. The Sky Martial continent was an entire continent, and the 7 great empires had divided this continent. The relationship between them was very subtle. One day, they might be allies, but the next day, they might become enemies that wanted to destroy their country. Their territories would merge with each other, but the structure of the 7 great empires had never changed. In the early years, the demonic beasts ran amok. They were the real masters of this continent, and human beings were just a group under the rule of the demonic beasts. They were very weak and did not have a strong physique, but they had an extremely strong ability to learn and create. They observed the reproduction of the demonic beasts and created all kinds of breathing techniques. They also honed countless highly lethal secret techniques. It was precisely because of this that in the early years, the human tribes worshipped a certain demonic beast as their guardian to survive. Later on, they hunted the demonic beasts for their flesh and demonic cores to grow. Although this period of time was very long, it was undoubtedly an earth-shattering change for a race that could be wiped out with a flick of a finger. Today, the humans had completely dominated this continent, and the majority of the demonic beasts were exterminated. A small number of demonic beasts hid in the Hengduan mountain range to survive. Even so, the humans did not let go of the Hengduan mountain range, which was the final resting place of the demonic beasts. The appearance of the demon slayer profession was like a butcher waiting for pigs to mature. They were constantly plundering the resources of the demonic beasts to strengthen the humans. However, the humans did not dare to take too much. This was because the 7 empires were not completely connected to each other. The Hengduan mountain range that was entrenched in between them was a natural barrier. Other than the few empires that were connected to each other, the armies of the other empires could only choose to pass through the Hengduan mountain range to enter their territory. As a result, they had to deal with much fewer opponents. Other than the Hengduan mountain range, the other demonic beast resting place was the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas. The heavenly dance continent was surrounded by an endless ocean. That was the territory of the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas. The humans did not dare to provoke the demonic beasts of the sea race. Even though the humans coveted the islands surrounding the heavenly martial continent, they still chose to follow their hearts in the face of the mysterious ocean. Or it could be said that after countless defeats, the demonic beasts of the sea race were not existences that the humans of today could contend against. The above was the current situation of the continent that Lin Yuan understood. Most of it was obtained from the records or documents collected by the three-eyed ape when it was alive. There was also a small portion that came from the oral accounts of the demonic beasts like men do together with some of Lin Yuan's own guesses. He came to these conclusions. For the 7 empires, the most important territory was actually the cities near the Hengduan mountain range. Only through the trade in these cities could they obtain enough demonic beast flesh and demonic beast cores to make the experts they worship stronger and stronger. If they lost the qualifications to enter the Hengduan mountain range, the empires would only become weaker and weaker. In the end, they would be completely swallowed up by the other empires. The previous city lord of Mountain Blocking City was replaced because he made such a fatal mistake. It was unknown what happened to that city lord, whose brain was not as good as the demonic beasts, but Lin Yuan's blind guess was a crime worthy of 9 exterminations. The purple-eyed youth looked for him for the hunting rights. Moreover, he was not satisfied with the demonic beast forest. He wanted to enter the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range and even deeper regions. Therefore, as an influential person among the humans, he would condescend to look for Lin Yuan, the new Beast King. Firstly, Lin Yuan was the Beast King of the Stoneclaw Forest. It just so happened that he controlled the entrance of Mountain Blocking City into the Hengduan mountain range. Secondly, Lin Yuan was equivalent to a loose cultivator. He did not have a huge clan or force behind him. It did not matter if he fell out with him. Lin Yuan had heard of a saying in his previous life. The general had 1,000,000 souls on his shoulders, but he was no match for a ghost hidden in the human heart. In his previous life, Lin Yuan had seen too many sinister people. Therefore, he was very wary of this kind of cooperation that had an 80% chance of falling out with him. He agreed to it only because of the consideration of benefits. He was not a kind and honest person. He would not take the initiative to scheme against the other party. However, there was no need for him to swallow his broken teeth and satisfy the other party's benefits when he did not get any benefits. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and expelled the last trace of laziness from his mind. His heterochromatic eyes flashed with a bright light. After 3 days, the mess was almost cleaned up. He had also rested enough. He would return to the Scarlet Flame Swamp to see if there were any low-level demonic beasts that were easy to deal with. At the same time, he would take a look at the territory that was supposed to be his and see how many areas were left for the demonic beasts to reproduce. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.